They all live with you?
3 of my children live with me.
How old are you?
I'm 22.
It's enough children for a while.
And a father fails to step up.
This is the boyfriend.
Yes.
He was living with you, right?
Correct.
You didn't pay rent for 4 months, according to Miss Garcia.
I do my part.
What do you do for your part other than make children?
This is Judge Judy. Richard Mance is suing the girlfriend of his wife's nephew, 22-year-old Jasmine Garcia, for unpaid rent, damages, and court fees for an apartment in his name.
Judge, this is case number 3 on the calendar in the matter of Mance versus Garcia. Parties have been sworn in. Sir, you may be seated.
Mr. Mance, do you see the gentleman standing next to Miss Garcia?
Yes, that's my wife's nephew.
Okay, so that's your nephew?
Yes, it's my wife's nephew. It's our nephew, yes, ma'am.
And that's his girlfriend, and
Yes.
they have a child together.
Yes, ma'am.
And at some point, you foolishly co-signed a lease for the two of them.
It wasn't a cosign. It was a jointly tenant agreement. I wasn't eligible to do a cosign.
You weren't or they weren't?
I wasn't. It was going by my income. My income wasn't high enough to do a cosign.
And when was it that the lease was signed? When did they move into the apartment?
April the 18th, 2018.
Okay. What was the rent on the apartment?
Total money rent sum was $1,350.
When did you move out of the apartment, Miss Garcia?
It was a few days before May 9th, so it would have been May 4th, 2019.
Who was living in the apartment with you in March of 2019?
My 2 children and Brian, my boyfriend.
Was he living there in February?
Yes.
Okay. When did you stop paying rent?
The last time I paid rent was December. It was for the month of December. Paid it in November.
So you didn't pay December?
No.
So you didn't pay December, January, February, or March?
No.
At least 4 months. Why?
I had a conversation with Richard in December about my money running out. I was a former foster youth, so they gave me a certain amount of money every month, and he knew that before I moved into the apartment, and I had let him know.
Don't tell me what he knew. Don't tell me what he knew. You have 2 children?
3.
Do they all live with you?
Yes. I have 4 children. 3 of my children live with me.
How old are you?
I'm 22.
22?
Yes.
It's enough children for a while. This is the boyfriend.
Yes.
He was living with you.
Yes.
Mr. Mance, that you're not suing your nephew as well as his girlfriend?
The nephew wasn't on the lease, ma'am.
Who cares whether he was on a lease or not? His behind was in the house. He was busy making children. Is there any reason why you didn't sue him?
Well, ma'am, I'm suing Jasmine because we got a judgment together. His name wasn't on with the judgment.
Okay. Would you put up there a copy of the judgment that you got and then show me that you paid it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you pay it? Did you pay it?
I paid. I made arrangement with the owner of the apartment to make payments if he would mask the case so our credit wouldn't get ruined.
No. Can you just answer my question? You're going to show me the judgment and then tell me how much you paid on the judgment.
Yes, ma'am.
That you have proof of.
There's a judgment, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so the sum was $9,010.
Yes, ma'am.
The principal sum was $8,000, and then they added on attorney's fees and costs. Okay. Well, of the $8,000, they had a security deposit of $2,500. Is that what I read from the paper, Miss Garcia?
Yes. I'm not sure if it was $2,500. I don't know the exact amount. I was then $2,500.
Well, how am I supposed to know? What am I supposed to take a number out of the air?
No, I'm not.
I mean,
sure.
You're a big grown-up girl. You're 22 years old. You have 4 children. You're supposed to know how much your security deposit was, even though you didn't pay for it, because the state paid for your security deposit. Am I getting that right?
No, actually.
Am I getting that right?
No. Brian sold his vehicle to get us in the place. He sold it for $2,700.
Well, that's not actually what you... That's not exactly what you said in your answer. You said he sold his car and you used your foster care money.
I used my foster care money to pay the rent every month. I didn't use that for the security deposit.
Well, Brian can deal with that then when his uncle sues him, because his uncle's only going to get half from you, because you live there along with him.
Co-tenant.
Oh, I'm going to love this. Stand up. Stand up.
Yeah, I'm here.
Stand up. How old are you?
What does it matter?
How old? I want to know how old you
I'm old
are.
enough to
You
be
asked
here
me how old.
and to testify.
Well, what does that mean?
Okay.
I want to know how old you are.
I'm 42 years old.
You're 42. And how many children do you have with Miss Garcia? 2 or 1?
3.
How many? You
3.
have 3 children with her. What kind of work do you do?
Facilities maintenance. I'm a 23-year biotech.
You think that it's reasonable for your uncle to pay the rent or any part of it for where you, Miss Garcia, and your 3 children were living?
Why should he?
And for you to pay nothing? Yeah,
Who
and you
says
pay
I
nothing.
didn't say
I mean,
it.
you're
What do
working.
you mean I didn't pay anything? Who said that? So.
Well, you didn't pay rent for 4 months, according to Miss Garcia. According to Miss Garcia, you didn't pay rent for 4 months.
I wasn't obligated to pay rent. That was between Richard and her. I was
No,
off
just a
and on
second.
at the
I'm
home.
just asking you.
What? It's not my. It's not.
Well-
me being off and on at the house doesn't constitute me paying the rent when it's their agreement. Yeah. It's great.
Oh.
I do my part. I do my part.
What do you do for your part other than make children? You don't pay for your rent. You don't pay for your gas. You don't pay for electric. So
Says
tell
who?
me what you do to do your part. I just want to know what you do to do your part. Tell me what you do.
It's irrelevant in this matter. I'm here as a witness to what's going on,
That's it.
and
I don't
yeah.
want you to be a witness. I want you to tell me
Okay.
what you do to do your part.
I
You
provide,
have a girlfriend and 3
I provide,
children.
and that's not your. I provide food. I provide towards the bills. I'm a provider.
What bills?
Multiple bills. Don't you have
What
bills?
do you provide?
SDG&E, trash,
Yeah, the first thing I
electric.
take care of are my
You're not gonna
taxes.
say-
And my taxes.
Okay. Good
First
for
thing I
you.
take care of my taxes. I don't have a mortgage.
Okay,
So I want to
but
know.
for you to say-
I want
for
to know
you-
why you think
I don't need to stop.
that your uncle should pay your rent.
Because he's a con
Where
artist.
you live with your
He's
3
a con
children.
artist.
What?
He's a con artist. His intention in going into this lease was foul in the beginning, so I don't trust him. Period. And me
So
being
it was
off and on
somebody else's-
there.
It was somebody else's fault. It was somebody else's fault. Let me ask you
Yeah,
this
I mean,
question.
did I
When
force
you're
his
not
hand in
living
writing
with-
a contract?
When you're not living with Miss Garcia,
Okay.
where are you living?
I'd stay.
Not okay. That's not an okay.
I have a 42
When you're not
foot-
living with Miss Garcia, where are you?
That's none of your concern either.
You have a what?
It's none of your concern. What? I mean, you're asking questions that I feel like she doesn't owe him anything because he didn't do
I don't-
anything for the first
I don't-
9 months of the lease. So think however you want to.
That's why this country is in such trouble.
Oh, no.
You are the reason why we're in such
Sure.
trouble.
Okay.
Sit. Let's understand this, sir. You made a mistake when you obligate yourself for an apartment, a rent, a car, anything.
As a co-tenant.
Trailer, as a co-signer or as a leaseholder. When it's for somebody else, you have to be confident that the people that you are assuming the responsibility for are responsible. And if you choose not to do that, then this is where you find yourself.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You have a 22-year-old living with a 42-year-old who thinks it's perfectly okay for him not to pay rent. This is a problem that's endemic to this country, people who refuse to accept responsibility.
And later today,
He began to ask me what I did with the earring, and I said I replaced it. And he said, well, you replaced it with a cheap earring. You owe me $350. And I told him, I don't owe you anything. And then he said, well, I'm taking you to court. I said, well, have at it.
Richard Mann says the girlfriend of his wife's nephew, Jasmine Garcia, owes for rent and damages for an apartment in his name.
Okay, you have a 22-year-old living with her and who thinks it's perfectly okay for him not to pay rent. And to start to tell me that he's got a 42-foot boat or a 42-foot trailer or a 42-foot whatever he has, somebody cut off his mic, okay? This is a problem that's endemic to this country, people who refuse to accept responsibility. However, sir, I'm not awarding you what you wanted, which is $5,000. You now have a judgment against you. Go after him for half. She's very busy with her 3 children, I doubt whether she's employed. Are you employed?
No, I'm not employed.
No, of course not. Of course not. And how do you support yourself?
I'm on welfare, and I get money
Okay.
from my tribe.
Wonderful. $2,500. Then I'm probably going to pay it as a taxpayer. Judgment for the plaintiff. We're done. Thank you very much. Out.
This case is concluded. You're excused.
I didn't ask. He came randomly to us to offer it because we were living homeless.
She just got pregnant again. She's had a 3-month-old child, and they was living, on the streets in RV in different places.
He said that he would help me get an apartment so that I can live there with my kids.
She'll have a better place for her to go through her pregnancy, and the little toddler, she'll have a place to run around.
He did come stay there, and he was there very often.
That's a lie. I never stayed there.
He comes whenever.
Eviction, we really never talked before, so it's pretty much going to be the same, no communication.
A lot of friction.
You need to really understand the situation. This rental is very serious,
All parties in the matter of Paxton versus Claiborne. Approach the podium, please.
Daryl Paxton is suing the grandmother of his girlfriend's son, Elizabeth Claiborne, for the value of a diamond earring.
Judge, this is case number 6 on the calendar in the matter of Paxton versus Claiborne. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
Thanks, Bert. Mr. Paxton, are you married?
No.
So you live with the child of the defendant.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that right?
Yes.
How long have you been living with her?
She actually lives with me. Been living with me for 5 years.
She lives with you. For
Yeah.
how?
5 years.
And how old are you, sir?
I'm 56.
And how old is your girlfriend?
She's 32.
And she has a 12-year-old son.
Yes.
And your complaint is that you bought an earring
I bought a pair.
for...
I bought a pair of earrings.
Yes, but you bought one of the 2 earrings that you bought. One was for you, and one was for your girlfriend's son.
Yes.
And you gave it to him as a gift.
Yes.
And grandmother took that earring out, she's going to tell me why, and didn't return it.
Yes.
And so, despite the fact that once you make a gift, you have no interest in it anymore,
Yes.
you want her to pay you $320, which is what you paid for the earring.
Actually, I asked him what happened to the earring, and he told me his granny took it out his ear, and I was like, well, where is it? And I called her and asked her where it was, and she told me that it accidentally fell in the trash can.
Okay. And,
And I asked her,
Mr. Paxton, when you give someone a gift, you do not retain any interest in it anymore.
I understand that, but my thing to him, to the son, and we specified it to him. Did nobody take the earring out his ear?
What I'm telling you, sir, is you're not his father.
Okay,
Now,
I'm not his father,
his
but...
his mother, listen, his mother, who is his guardian, could possibly sue on his behalf.
Okay.
Because the gift, pay attention.
I understand.
Because the gift, I'm going to start again. Once you make a gift of anything to someone, if it's a gift,
Yes,
you
ma'am.
lose all interest.
Turn it off so it won't ring.
Great, great. Well, I thought you were supposed to do that before. Now, if his mother, as his guardian, wanted to sue her mother on her son's behalf, she could do that.
Okay.
But you are non-related to these people.
Okay.
You're not related to the boy,
Okay.
and you're not related to his mother. So you can't sue on his behalf if he wants this earring back. You have no standing. You've made a gift. The gift is gone. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Glad you understand.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
His grandmother says she bought him a pair.
Yes,
Is that correct?
yes.
Let me see a pair.
Okay. Just, hey! Don't talk to her. This is not your turn to talk to her.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Daryl Paxton says Elizabeth Claiborne threw away a diamond earring he'd given to his girlfriend's son.
Now, just for my own information, so maybe it will assuage the plaintiff and I don't know how his girlfriend, your daughter, feels about this. What happened?
My grandson came to visit me, and he told me he had gotten his ear pierced. And he said, Granny, you want to see the earring? And I said, I looked at it, but I didn't pay a lot of attention to it. So later on, he came back, maybe about 15 or 20 minutes later, and he kept complaining about the ear, that it hurted. And I said, well, you just got it pierced. So he said, no, Granny, look. So when I looked again, the ear was really swollen. And so I and my husband started to take a good look at it. We got him in the light, and we noticed that the backing of the ear was in the skin of his ear. So we tried to take it out. So we finally kept screwing and screwing, and finally we got it out. We took it out. The ear was really big, so I put rubbing alcohol peroxide on it, and I put the earring in a cup. Now, the earring did get misplaced. I don't know where it went, but I called his mother. His mother is not my daughter. My son is their father. So I called her and I said, Wendy, I misplaced the earring, but I'll replace Kanai's earring. She said, okay. So I took him the next day and I bought him 14-karat gold set of earrings. We put one in and I gave him the other earring, and I thought that was the end of it until maybe about, I'm going to say 2 weeks later or so, she called me and she said that Daryl wanted to speak to me. Then he began to tell me asked me what I did with the earring, and I said I explained that to with a cheap earring. You owe me $350, and I told him I don't owe you anything. And then he said, well, I'm taking you to court. I said, well, have at it. Take me to court because I'm not going to pay you anything. Basically, my grandson's ear was swollen, and the earring had caused damage to the ear. So as a grandmother, I took it out.
Well, I just wanted to know what the explanation was.
Yeah, that was it.
Put your hand down. Put your hand down.
Mm-hmm.
What's your girlfriend's name?
Wendy.
Wendy?
Yeah.
Wendy, could you stand up, please? Wendy, I only have a couple of questions for you.
Okay.
When your son went to visit with his grandmother, did he come home with an earring in his ear?
Yes, he did.
And he had one in his ear. Did he have another earring?
I didn't realize it was another earring until a couple of days later.
No, I didn't ask you what you realized. Did you see one earring in his ear, and did he have another one? Because his grandmother says she bought him a pair.
Yes.
She bought him two. Is that correct?
Yes.
Well, you see a pair.
Okay.
Yeah,
hey! Don't talk to her. This is not your turn to talk to her.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by Have You Been Cheated on Facebook? And follow us on Twitter.
So you saw that his grandmother bought him a pair of earrings,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And your boyfriend got his nose out of whack, so I assume you looked carefully at the earrings that his grandmother bought him.
Yes.
Would that be a fair statement? Were they 14-karat gold earrings?
No. They was zirconia.
What were they?
Zirconia earrings?
Zirconia is a diamond. That's a fake diamond. Was it set in 14-karat gold? Was it set in gold? Or you don't know?
No, I'm not sure. No.
Okay, so it was a diamond zirconia. It was a fake diamond set in something like a stud. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Now you can sit down. This was a very interesting case. Mr. Paxton, you have no standing to sue the defendant.
Okay,
you
that's
gave
fine
a
with
gift.
me.
Once
That's
you
fine.
give a gift, you have no interest in it.
That's
Thank you
fine.
very much. Your case is dismissed.
Okay.
We're finished. Thank you. Bye.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
You brought some goodies with you, some cannabis.
The dog went inside of the luggage, but the dog was behaving normally, kind of just laying there.
The dog was high.
Next Judge Judy.
I paid $330 for a pair of earrings, and the earring that she put in his ear was fake.
I'm happy with the decision. Basically, the earring that he so-called claimed he bought was not even it wasn't even a $100 earring.
Man, I don't even want to talk about it no more. It's a done deal.
He just wants some money, and he's just upset because Judge ruled in my favor, and I want to thank Judge Judy.
Her cousin had high hopes for his visit.
You brought some goodies with you, some brownies that were laced with cannabis.
And I'd like the record to reflect that it wasn't for me.
But what happened
It was in my luggage. The dog went inside of the luggage.
was a real downer.
She was going to take the dog to the vet.
But the dog was behaving normally. It was kind of just laying there.
The dog was high.
This is Judge Judy. Tahara Wright is suing her cousin, Anthony Chambers, for vet bills, lost wages, and pain and suffering after her dog ate Anthony's marijuana-laced chocolates.
Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated, sir.
Thanks, Bert.
You're welcome.
Miss Wright, this is your cousin, and according to what I read, he and his brother came to visit you as house guests over Memorial Day weekend. And you have a dog, that dog that I see over in the corner. It's a lovely
beautiful dog.
How long have you had the dog?
3 years. I rescued him. He was blind. He was getting beaten, so I rescued him. He's a very nice dog. Has a disability, but so cute.
Totally blind.
Totally blind, yes.
Do you know how old he is?
Yes, he's about 3, 4 years old. When I rescued him, you know, the paperwork wasn't all together, you know, because I adopted him. He was abused. His name's Graham.
Was his blindness a congenital condition, or was it the result of abuse?
The result of abuse, yes. And now he's still
Good
getting
for you.
abused to this day. He's still getting abused to this day.
Why?
Because of my cousin.
Oh, well, we'll get to that in a minute. He's not
Okay.
being abused in your house, I assume.
Oh, no, oh, no,
I
oh,
assume
no. I
he's-
treat him with a lot of love,
Okay, very good. Let's not be overdramatic.
Okay, no dramatics. just
Understood? Got it?
Yes.
Good. It is your claim that your cousin, either accidentally or on purpose, allowed your dog to get control of a controlled substance, making the dog ill. You want him to be responsible for the vet bill. Stay to the doctor. That's your claim.
Also wages and pain and suffering, and yes, it was actually on purpose.
Yes, yeah. My pain, my suffering, you want your vet bills paid. Okay. On what date did your cousin arrive in your house?
Oh, what day was that? Let me see. Excuse me. June 3rd. Oh, when he arrived.
Of this year.
What day did he come?
The Friday.
Just don't. I mean, we're not in a playpen here. We're in a court. I'm asking you a question. The questions get harder. On what date did your cousin arrive at your house?
That Friday. June 3rd, I took the dog to the vet, so that Friday before.
What was the date?
Does anyone have a calendar?
I'll wait until somebody gets a calendar.
You have a calendar? You have a phone? Oh.
I do.
Okay.
On what date did you arrive?
Yes, it was Friday, May 29th.
And who did you arrive with?
I arrived with the plaintiff's brother, Terrell.
You arrived.
I arrived.
You arrived.
Yes. We took the train down.
Did you and the plaintiff's brother stay in the same room?
Yes.
And how long were you intending to stay?
We were intending to stay until that Sunday, Your Honor, and we were having such a good time. We were exploring the city. We had been locked down due to COVID for a couple of weeks, and so we decided to extend our trip that Sunday.
Until some goodies with you, some brownies and stuff that were laced with cannabis. Is that right?
That's correct, Your Honor, and I'd like the record to reflect that it wasn't for me.
That it wasn't for you?
Yes, I was bringing it back home to a friend.
Okay, you had purchased it where?
I purchased it in San Diego.
Now, on the 2nd of June,
Correct.
I'd like you to tell me what behavior you noticed in the dog that was different. Now, you had already been there, and I assume you knew the dog before.
Yes.
Yes. So, on the 2nd of June, you noticed that there was some different kind of behavior in the dog. I want you to describe it to me.
Well, there wasn't really any difference in the dog's behavior on June 2nd, Your Honor. The dog was just kind of sleeping and laying around. It kind of does that all the time, though.
Well, why did the plaintiff tell you she was going to take the dog to the vet?
Well, what happened, Your Honor, was on June 2nd, we were all in the kitchen, hanging out in the kitchen. I think we were probably eating lunch, and the plaintiff's brother walked into the bedroom where my luggage was. And I had my luggage there, and on top of the luggage were clothes, but inside the luggage there was a box of chocolate-covered raisins and marijuana-infused brownie. And the plaintiff's brother walked into the room and saw that the chocolate-covered raisins had been opened, and there were no chocolate raisins in the box. So we assumed that it was the dog. It was kind of just laying there the day on June 2nd.
Well, just...
The dog was high.
Okay. I'm not speaking to you.
Oh, okay, sorry. I just want to get it clear.
Not speaking to you. I'm not speaking to you yet. when a person goes in to take some candy out of luggage,
Right.
it's usually relatively neat.
Right.
When a dog goes in and rifles through, there's usually a mess.
Right.
So I assume that according to what you're telling me, the plaintiff's brother came in and said, looks like the dog got into your luggage.
Right, because there was a mess. There was the...
Is that what you said, sir?
Yes, but the candy wasn't in the luggage. It was on the luggage.
I object.
Okay.
She's not talking to you.
You want me to say goodbye to you? It'll be a pleasure. Do you understand? Mm-hmm. Now, are you a dog owner?
No, I'm not a dog owner. There is a dog that lives in the house with me, though, in LA.
Well, you do know a dog eating chocolate can be a very dangerous thing.
Yes.
You do know that.
Correct.
And if there was nothing left of the chocolate-covered raisins, I would assume that you knew that the dog had consumed those raisins, right?
Correct.
And it would have been remiss if the plaintiff did not take her dog to the vet. Would have been remiss if she did not take her dog to the vet.
Correct, but I feel like
to have the dog checked out.
Yes, but I feel like the vet wasn't going to do anything, which they didn't. They sent her home and told her to observe the dog.
What I'm telling you is your cousin a single lady?
Yeah, she's a single lady.
And I assume doesn't have kids?
Nope.
Well, people view their dogs as their children, as they should.
Correct.
And if you have a young child that's gotten into something that is potentially lethal, you want to have that child checked out.
Correct. My question is, why would she wait till the next day?
Well, I don't know why she waited until the next day.
He told me not to take
I'm not speaking to you. I'm not speaking to you. That's not a question that's relevant. The question is, the only reason she took the dog to the vet is because you, either negligently or on purpose, left a potentially lethal substance where this dog could get it.
Your Honor, it was.
You are responsible for the vet bill.
May I submit, Your Honor, that it was in my luggage. The dog went inside of the luggage. This was in her home. She should be responsible. And, Your Honor, her dog has attacked people many times. And the plaintiff's brother can attest to that.
Listen to me. The dog did not attack. The dog, who was blind, got into your luggage.
Right.
The dog does not look like a sleuth. The dog is a dog, a blind dog, and you left your luggage. Your cousin says it was on top. I don't care if it was underneath. It was left in such a manner. Pay attention, you're trying to speak to me. It was left in such a manner that the dog could consume it. You're responsible for the vet bill. Period. End of discussion. We're done. Hands down. What was the vet bill?
$450.
May I see it, please?
Yes. He had to have a lot of treatment done.
Just a second. Just don't. I didn't ask you a question. I just said I wanted to see it. $446. Judgment for the plaintiff. Thank you very much. We're finished with everybody.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
She doesn't watch the dog. The dog went inside of my luggage.
He has tried to murder my dog on many occasions.
I don't know how the dog did that, but it went inside and opened it up.
Yes, I didn't know that he was going to have my feed it to my dog.
And we were in her home where she should have been responsible.
Or the raisins or the chocolate.
And she actually wants to give the dog away, and we can call her mom to verify that.
I love my dog. Look at him. He's so nice.
She doesn't even want to take care of the dog right now.
He eats the finest food, drinks the...
Evo, I hope this doesn't destroy our relationship.
Oh, no, he's not welcome at all, no, or you're going to see me back here.
All parties in the matter of Bad Heart Bull versus Panchal. Approach the podium, please.
Janice Bad Heart Bull is suing Jitendra Panchal for a refund for a fraudulent car sale.
Janice, how do you know the defendant?
I met the defendant, I would say, quite a few years ago when I had a 2011 Scion, and I bought some parts from him for that car.
So he's in the business?
As far as I knew, he works for United Airlines, and his hobby is rebuilding Scions.
You had nothing other than a business relationship with him?
Correct.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, you were looking for another car?
Correct.
In what month and year?
It was in 2019. I was looking...
Month?
The month, I would say probably August. I called him to let him know that I would be receiving some money, and I was looking to buy another Scion. And since they don't make
Why?
I just love them because it's like having a truck, but a car because I can pack a lot of stuff in it, and I do a lot of artwork.
What do you do?
I do a lot of artwork, and so I just find things that inspire me.
And you had bought just parts from him before, never a car?
Correct.
When did he advise you that?
He told me he had one, but he needed to do work on it, and I told him I wasn't ready right away.
Did you go and see the car?
No, there was not an opening for that, because he was working on it as far as...
What do you mean there wasn't open?
He was fixing it. I don't know what he was doing to it at the point, but he was repairing whatever. And I never saw the car until the day I purchased it.
And on what date did you purchase it?
I purchased in September of 2019.
Okay. And you paid $4,500 for the car.
That's incorrect. He charged me $5,000, and then I gave him another $500 on top of it because I didn't approve of the bodywork repairs he made that I was unaware of.
Okay, well, you say that you agreed on a price of $4,500 in your complaint.
Yes, we did.
I agreed to a price of $4,500 and received my loan.
Yes, and I do have the evidence and a phone call that we agreed to...
No, don't tell me the...
No, I'm saying yes. I asked for a car for $4,500.
Is that correct, sir?
The price was $4,500, and then I told her that the hood needs to be painted, and I had sent her pictures also. I have the evidence for that, also before and after.
Just a second. So she did, in fact, then give you $5,000?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Plus
and you...
in September, no, I'm sorry, date issue was 12/16 of 2019. That's when I took possession.
What?
Well, I'm looking at the...
When did she take possession of the car?
September.
September? Yeah, I'm like confused on all the paperwork.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
He may be the world's greatest scam artist. If you want to tell me bad things about him, I'll give you as much time as you like.
He swore to me that it had a clean engine, clean title.
Janice!
Yes, wait.
Pay attention.
Janice Badhart-Bull says Jitendra Panchal defrauded her regarding the sale of a car.
Now, do you have a bill of sale?
The bill of sale, I've already sent it, but I have an evidence where she signed the paperwork.
I just want to see a bill of sale.
I do not have a bill of sale.
I would like to see the bill of sale.
All I have is his check, the check that the bank wrote, a cashier's check to him, and his signature.
I just need a bill of sale for the car.
I have this evidence up here, if you can see.
He never gave me a bill of sales.
What is a statement of facts? What is that?
Statement of fact. It's a statement of fact that the car is sold as is, and I'm not responsible for it.
No, sir.
I've never seen that
I don't
paper.
see that.
This is always, whenever I bought a car, people have got this one signed for me also.
Well, I don't know about... That's nothing. Your statement of facts is nothing.
No, I never saw that paper.
What is that? What is on the other side?
It's a DMV form, which tells you if you're clarifying anything regarding the car, if the car was damaged or anything like that.
Public Service Agency, completely appropriate. Okay. It's a used car. It's 11 years old. You took possession of the car in September of 2019. How long did you drive it?
I had it for 6 months.
And then it
was
stopped
4,000
running?
It was 4,000 miles before it blew up.
So it blew up. You drove it for 6 months, and now you want your money back.
That's not what I wasn't. It's not a buyer beware. I have so much about him falsifying documents to the DMV, to my bank, and I even have the paperwork that he filled out, which falsified. He swore to me on this car that it had a clean engine, clean title. That's all I ever heard. Clean engine, clean title. I called him up, and this is how it went. It's like I'm on
Janice. Janice.
Yes.
Janice.
Yes. Wait.
Pay attention.
Sorry.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Please, this isn't right. What he did.
What he did may not be.
But how can you lie?
How can you? Bad people do that.
And he's not responsible
Janice,
for anything?
Bad people do that.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Janice Badhart-Bull says Jitendra Panchal defrauded her regarding the sale of a car.
Now, Janice.
Yes.
You bought an 11-year-old car and you drove it for 6 months. Are you telling me that you didn't register it?
No, it was registered.
You just said. And it was registered in whose name?
It was registered in my...
When you were driving the car.
When I drove the car, it
Janice.
was... Yes.
When you drove the car, it was registered in your name.
Correct.
Right. And you drove it for 6 months.
Right. But can we talk?
You don't get your money back.
It's not.
You don't get your money
it's
back.
not about the purchase of the car. It's the whole situation. He took advantage of an elderly. He lied from the very beginning. He promised to fix the work because I wasn't happy with it. He took off out of the country. He took the money and went out of the country, did not follow through with anything. I even have a phone message saying that we agreed to $4,500. He made it $5,000. He's like, oh, I gave you this, and he goes, I put on lifetime guarantee brakes. You got the rims. You got this. I go, I never asked for
Janice, he's the world's greatest scam artist. You drove the car for 6 months. You bought an 11-year-old car. If you want to tell me bad things about him, just to get it off your chest, I'll give you as much time as you like, but you're not getting your money back for the car.
I'm trying to explain that it has more to do with than me purchasing the car and the car being bad. That's not what it's all about. What it's about is the whole agreement. I was honest and told him exactly what I needed. He swore to me that that car would last because I'm on a fixed income. I'm retired. And, you know, I tried to work with the car. I have evidence showing that I've spent a fortune on it getting repairs. I'm not even asking for that. All I'm asking for is to be reimbursed for the second car I had to buy I had to buy 2 cars in 6 months. And it's, you know, I mean, I have evidence showing where the odometer was turned back.
You don't have a claim against him.
But how can you...
Just listen.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter.
You don't have a claim against him.
Yes, I am.
You bought an 11-year-old car.
Right.
You registered it. You drove it for 6 months.
Technically, he registered it.
It had no guarantee. It had no warranty. That's what happens when you buy an 11-year-old car for somebody that is a hobby, fixes up cars. You have no recourse on what you're supposed to be if you're...
Okay.
I don't care what he told you. It's irrelevant.
It's not about what he told me. It's
irrelevant.
in writing to the DMV. It's in writing to my bank.
Okay.
So that's what I'm trying to show
We're
you.
done. Thank you very much. We're finished. We're finished.
No, I have
We're finished.
everything, please. Please, this isn't right what he did. It's got nothing to do with
what he did may not be...
But how can you lie to the DMV? How can you lie to my bank? How can
you? Bad people do that.
And he's not responsible
Janice,
for anything?
Bad people do that.
And he
Bottom line is,
he took more
you
money
want your money back. You bought a used car that was 11 years old, and you paid reasonably for it because I've checked. I'm speaking because I checked the Blue Book value of the car and what they're being sold for. So for $4,500 or $5,000, it was a pretty good deal. Some of those cars are being sold for $7,000. Some are being sold for $8,000. I'm sure you know that you looked. So I was able to find out what they were. You bought a used car, 11 years old. You drove it for 6 months. You don't get any money back. We're done here.
Can I ask a question about the Carfax report?
No.
And the odometer turned back?
No. We're done. What part of we're done don't you understand, folks there?
This case is finished. Parties are excused.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy. Their relationship was finally over, but he wasn't over it.
I tell him, get out of here. He rammed his truck into my vehicle.
That never happened.
Nope. Judge Judy.
I was told it had 120,000 miles.
The car is sold as is. There's no warranty on the car.
He swore to me that it would last for 300,000 miles.
So if after 6 months anything happens to the car, I'm not responsible for it.
I was sitting at a stop sign and it blew up, so...
The car title itself also says it's a clean title.
It lasted 4,000 miles.
It doesn't say it was a rollback or anything like that.
I guess you need to do your research and not trust people that you know.
The situation today is like I don't know her anything.
No more. The love just had faded away.
their relationship was finally over.
Things went bad.
Has Mr. Nieves ever hit you?
Yes, he has.
She's lying, Your Honor.
But he wasn't over it.
I look out the window, and it's him pulling up, and I tell him, what do you want? Get out of here. He rammed his truck into my vehicle.
That never happened.
Nope.
Judge Judy. This is Judge Judy. Daniela Hernandez is suing her ex-boyfriend, Luis Nieves, for ramming her vehicle in a fit of rage. She is also suing for the cost to rent a car.
Judge, this is case number 19 on the calendar in the matter of Hernandez versus Nieves. Parties have been sworn in, Your Honor. You may be seated.
Ms. Hernandez, you and the defendant have 2 children together. How old are they?
16 and 14.
Both boys?
No, growing boy.
The boy is 14?
Yes.
How long did you and Mr. Nieves live together?
About a year.
In what year?
2004.
And then you were separated?
Yeah, off and on.
When did you get back together again?
Last year.
In 2019?
Yes.
Well, in between there, I know that you had to have
in
gotten together
yeah.
a little bit before.
In 2006.
For how long?
About a year.
And then he left again, or you left?
I left.
Why?
It wasn't working out.
Tell me, wasn't working out in 2004 up to temper. Had Mr. Nieves displayed a temper to you, either in when you lived together in 2004 or 2006?
Yes.
Okay. And you've actually then lived apart for about 13 years?
Yes.
Do you have another partner or mate?
Yes, I do.
And what is his name?
Dominic.
How long have you been living with Dominic?
Since my mother passed away.
When was that? What year?
This year.
In 2019?
Yes.
Now, Mr. Nieves.
Yes, Your Honor.
There were several occasions in which you lost your temper, according to the plaintiff. And you didn't lose your temper and hit her. But you lost your temper and damaged her car with your car or with a car that you were driving. And she would like to be compensated for that. The first one was a year ago, 2019. Do you want to tell me what happened in 2019, Mr. Nieves?
Yes, in 2019, there was one day where I left her at the beach with the kids because we started arguing for something stupid. So I left and I told her to find her own ride home because we were on my vehicle. So I got home, and then like a couple minutes later, she arrived home, and she arrived home with all the kids, and in front of all the kids, started expecting me at my house, and there was nobody home. My mom wasn't there or anybody. Then she called her brother over, and then she called, I don't know who she called, but she called a couple people, so I called the cops on her, right? Well, she left then.
So she left?
And then came back, the following day.
Okay, and nothing happened with the car?
Nothing happened that day.
So when did it happen?
Okay, so there was this
her car.
It was like a couple of weeks after that. We just started arguing for, I have no clue for what, to be honest. Well,
okay, so she came home.
Yeah, she came back.
So she came home.
We made everything peaceful after that. So we started off fresh again.
Okay.
So that deal was over with, right? But it still brought me flashbacks from like when I was a kid, because she used to do the same thing when I was a kid. When we were kids, she used to attack me all the time as well. And in front of my mom, in front of my, whoever was there would see it. Whether it was in the middle of the street or not, she's broken my windows.
Let's move on to the car.
Okay. So that day, she jumped on me and she scratched my face. And I ran out the door into my truck and I reversed and tried to do a U-turn in my driveway, and I hit her car with the back of my truck.
Okay. And that was taken care of?
Yes, it was.
By insurance, is that right?
Yes.
By my insurance.
Yes. Now, Miss Hernandez, did you scratch him in the face?
Yes, I did.
Why?
He tried to put his hands on me to defend myself. Well, he tried to hit me. I can't remember for what, but he tried to hit me.
Miss Hernandez, has Mr. Nieves ever hit you?
Yes, he has.
She's lying, Your Honor.
In what year?
Through 2004 all the way up.
Well, you say 2004 all the way up. So he tried to hit you. Did he ever hit you in 2004? That's either a yes or a no. Did he ever hit you in 2004?
Yes.
She doesn't even know what she's answering, Your Honor.
Tell me how much.
Shh.
What I want you to do is make sure you give me the truthful answer to a question, because there's going to be a follow-up question, Ms. Hernandez. Do you understand?
Yes.
Could you estimate how many times Mr. Nieves hit you between 2004 and 2019? Hit you. Not tried to hit you, but hit you.
I'm going to say about 10.
Did you ever report any of those assaults to authorities?
Yes, I did.
Do you remember in what year?
I remember a couple.
Tell me. if it was just a couple, then those couple of times it must have been serious.
I remember it was 2005. I remember after that it was 2019.
Your Honor, there isn't any times. That's why she doesn't have a date, all right?
No, just a second. Now, those are the 2 times you remember and the 2 times you reported it to the police.
Yes.
In 2019, tell me the circumstances surrounding you reporting on a...
I have the report here. There was a time where he thought I was cheating on him, so I went to his job and he took my phone from me, grabbed the hammer, started banging on it, cracked it in half, and just like nothing, just threw it away.
Can I see that police report?
No, that one I don't have, but I have one where he beat me up in his garage. He threw me to the floor and told me whether I like it or not, this is where
In what
gonna...
year?
2019.
Okay, so first he hit you in the garage. Was that the same day on the 20th?
Yes, it was.
So after he assaulted you in the garage, he left?
I left, yes.
You left. So you had gone to his house?
Yes.
Well, what did you go to his house for?
Because we were going to talk about just being good terms and just, I don't know what got into him and just things went bad.
What time did you show up at his house?
Probably around 11.
So you went to his house at 11 p.m. Did you tell him that you were coming?
He knew. He called me and told me to come over.
Don't tell me what he knew. Don't tell me what he knew.
He called me to come over.
Is that correct, sir?
Yeah, but there's a possibility, yes.
Yes. So you asked her to come over?
Yes, because I wanted to be with her. I was trying to do everything the right way ever since I got back with her.
11
yes.
o'clock at night is not breakfast time.
Well, I don't know if it was 11 o'clock, to be honest with you. It could have been 1 in the morning.
Right. So you invited her to come over at 11 o'clock at night. She came over. You had now tell me what happened with the car.
The incident happened on the 20th. My car happened days after.
I want to know what happened with your car. Now we're back to your car.
But you want to know what...
The first instance...
Oh, the first incident when he first crashed my car?
You indicate that there are 3 things that you are suing him for. In case you forgot, I'm going to tell you. You first alleged that he damaged your car in 2019. You got a rental car. When he damaged your car, that was paid for by insurance.
Yes.
When you got a rental car, he damaged the rental car, and now they're coming after you, you say, for $1,000. Tell me about your rental car. Come on. Questions get harder.
It happened down the street from his house.
On what date?
I don't remember exactly, but it was a few days before I had to turn in the vehicle. He hit me with the rental truck that he was using when my vehicle was in the shop.
Okay. You want to tell me, sir, about this rental car?
I don't know what she's talking about.
That never happened.
Nope. The 2 times that we did have an accident, my insurance covered for it, and I admitted to my insurance, and they did their investigation, and they were able to confirm
Which 2 times, sir?
In December 6th and in June.
Then she rented a rental car, and you say that you didn't damage the rental car.
Nope, I did not rent any car. She was out there with her friends doing...
She's referencing is on February 9th, 2020. Do you want to tell me your version of what happened on February 9th, 2020?
Yes, I was at work all day. Like every day I was at work, and that's it. I didn't even know anything till a week and a half after that. My insurance contacted me, and when I spoke to my insurance, they were telling me that there was being a claim being filed for that certain date. So I told the insurance where I was at, and then they did their own investigation, and they confirmed where I was at, and they said they weren't going to pay for the claim because I was at no fault.
So what 2 times did your insurance pay?
One happened in June and one happened in December. After December, we haven't been together.
Okay. What happened in June? You didn't tell me what happened in June.
Yeah.
She's not claiming June.
June is when she scratched me. And in December, I was at work. She had gone to my job, and then she was going to the welfare office, supposedly right after that. Well, she didn't know I was driving home when I bumped into her in a street, in one of the back streets, and she was with the guy in her vehicle. So I started following her, and then she was going real fast, and I was following her behind her because I wanted her to stop because I had finally caught her cheating. So she hit the brakes out of nowhere, and I smashed into the back of her car. And I tried to dodge it out, but I couldn't. So my insurance, second one was in December. The first one was in June when she scratched my face.
Okay. Now, why don't you tell me your version of what happened on February 9th?
I was outside my house, my front yard, with my son and my boyfriend cleaning the front yard. I walk in, and I hear the sound of his truck. So I look out the window, and it's him.
Hold on one second, but just 1 second. Just 1 second. Is that your son here?
Yes.
I'd like him to step out while you're testifying. And is that your boyfriend?
Yes.
I'd like him to step out while you're testifying. Okay, you're outside with your boyfriend and your son in the yard cleaning up, and?
I walk in my house to get something to drink for all three of us. My mother's inside dying. I hear his truck, so I look out the window, and it's him pulling up, and I tell him, what do you want? Get out of here. And he said, I told you.
Just a second. Joe, up. You're inside.
Yes.
You heard his truck from inside. In what room were you inside?
I was in the living room.
Okay. And you heard something, and is there a window in the living room that you saw his truck? Did you open the door?
I opened the curtain.
You opened the curtain, and you saw his truck.
The window, I opened the curtain, and I said, what do you want? Get out of here.
And where is the boyfriend? When you're saying this?
He's outside with my son.
Just a second. So your boyfriend and your son are in between you, because you're inside the house, and the defendant who's in the street.
Yes.
They're in between you.
Yes.
Okay, and you yelled, what are you doing here? And he said...
I told you I was going to... And I said, get out of here. And I don't know why, what got into him. And he said, I'm not going to leave you alone, and I'm going to... like I said I was. And that's when he rammed his truck into my vehicle. And when I was running out, he took off.
And you have a police report about that?
Yes, I do.
I'd like to take a look at it.
That's all they gave me.
That doesn't say anything about a car.
Yes, I know.
That you're a victim of domestic violence and sex assault.
Yes, that's all the officer gave me, and he said that if they catch him...
Don't tell me what the officer said to you.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
They were kind of arguing.
Tell me what you heard. You were right there.
She was telling him to, like, pretty much leave, and he was, like, cussing, and then he hit the truck.
Daniela Hernandez says ex-boyfriend Luis Nieves purposely rammed her vehicle.
Now, would you bring just the boyfriend in, please? Mr. Martinez, do you recall the events of February 9th of this year?
Yes.
Do you remember at about what time you and Miss Hernandez's son, take your hands out of your pockets, do you remember what time you and Miss Hernandez's son were outside doing yard work?
It was about 10 in the morning.
I'd like you to tell me exactly what you recall happened, sir.
Okay, we were cleaning...
You're outside with Miss Hernandez and her 14-year-old son.
Correct.
Okay, go.
Okay, we were picking up all the grass and putting it in the bags, and as we're walking up into the house, she heard the truck.
Who's we?
I mean, Aaron, her son.
And where was Miss Hernandez?
At that time, she was, like, between the front door and the middle of the yard of the house.
Okay, so she was between the front door and the lawn. Was she in front of the door of the house?
Yes.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure, because then she told us to come inside. We're going inside because I guess she heard his truck. And that's when we were about to go inside, and that's when he pulled up. And then they were talking about something, and then her son was still in the yard. And then I was actually about to walk in the house, like almost like a foot in the door. And that's when he reversed back and hit the car. And then I went inside, and then Aaron was still in the driveway, like about 5 feet from her car, where it got hit, and then he sped off.
So she was outside talking to him?
They were kind of arguing.
Tell me what you heard. You were right there.
Yeah.
So tell me what you heard.
She was telling him to, like, pretty much leave, and he was, like, cussing and saying, oh, you're disrespecting me, and then he hit the truck.
Okay. Why don't you have a seat? Bird, would you bring in the young man, please? What is his first name?
Aaron.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
He reversed into her car and took off.
Did you ask him, when you saw him again, why he hit your mom's car?
I asked him one time through text, and he said that we're going to have to talk about that in person.
How do you think her car got damaged, Mr. Nieves?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Daniela Hernandez purposely rammed her vehicle.
Now, Bird, would you bring in the young man, please? What is his first name?
Aaron.
Good morning, Aaron.
Good morning.
Aaron, do you remember February 9th, the incident that happened when you were outside raking the grass and cutting the grass with Dominic?
Yes, I do.
Okay, do you remember about what time that happened?
It was like early in the morning, around 12.
You have to speak up.
It was around 12.
Around
12.
12 o'clock?
Yeah.
And who was outside?
My mom, me, and Dominic.
Tell me what happened.
My dad pulled up. He went up the street, and then he came back down. And I was outside with my mom, and when he was going down, he hit the brakes, and he yelled at my mom, I told you I'm gonna... Can I say the words? Is it or...
Whatever. He said bad things. No, you don't have to.
Okay.
He said bad things to your mom.
Yeah, he said that, and then he reversed into her car and took off.
Okay. And did it damage her car? Did you see damage to the car?
Yes, on her right door.
Okay. Aaron, have you seen your dad since that day?
Yes, I have.
Did you ask him when you saw him again why he hit your mom's car?
That we're going to have to talk about that in person, and ever since I just forgot about it.
So you didn't speak to him again about it?
No.
Okay. Have a seat.
Thank you.
Have a seat. How do you think her car got damaged, Mr. Nieves?
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Are you in a family dispute? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
How do you think her car got damaged, Mr. Nieves?
I have no clue, to be honest.
Okay. Now, Ms. Hernandez, this is a 2017 Kia Optima that you had. Is that right?
Yes.
When did you buy it?
July 2nd, 2017.
So you bought it new?
Yes.
It's financed, correct?
Yes, I'm leasing it. I'm going to purchase it, actually. I'm buying
You're
the car.
buy it out?
Yes.
Were you leasing it in February?
Yes.
Okay. If you have a leased car, you are required to maintain collision insurance.
Yes.
And you maintain collision insurance. Did you have the car fixed?
In February?
In February or March or April
I
or
didn't
May
I didn't
or
get
June.
it fixed.
Why not?
Because I don't have the money, and I don't think I should pay for it.
What I'm saying to you, Ms. Hernandez, you are required to maintain insurance, including collision. Not just liability, but collision. Are you telling me that you didn't pay the insurance as you were supposed to?
And I did. I had full coverage and everything.
So fix the car.
But why should I pay for it if I didn't?
You're not paying for it. Your insurance is paying for it. Fix the car. Your insurance company is paying for it. Now, if you show me that you have a policy that requires a $500 deductible, I would absolutely charge Mr. Nieves that $500 if you fix the car. But I have no idea why you didn't, since February, have your car fixed, since you had full coverage. It's not coming out of your pocket. You are required to have insurance. Goodbye. We're done.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
You sold that business to the defendants. For how much?
$800,000.
What proof do you have that she libeled, slandered you, and caused you to lose business?
Next Judge Judy.
I don't know. I wanted to be in good terms with him, but
She's done so much to me in the past, and everybody knows it.
He snaps out of it and just decides.
In my family, that's why I didn't bring no witnesses or anything. I didn't need them.
Like, he made it a hobby to be crashing my car for no reason.
She's just out to get me because I have a lot of money, she says.
He's got money to buy cars out of for no reason. Then
I just work hard. That's all I do.
Maybe he should give me money to pay my car, or just, fix my car at least.
I don't want nothing with her.
I don't ever want to see him around my house.
I've been staying away from her. I have a new relationship, and I'm happy.
He wants to see his kids. He could pick them up somewhere else, but I don't want to see him by my house at all.
An entrepreneur cashes out her company.
You sold that business to the defendants.
Correct.
For how much?
$800,000.
But
There are 3 things that they have signed off on that I have problems with.
did she mess
You went to mediation. You hired an attorney.
with their success?
What proof do you have that she libeled, slandered you, and caused you to lose business?
This is Judge Judy. Janie Furling is suing Russell and Juliet Slaybaugh for legal fees resulting from the sale of her business.
Judge, this is case number 21 on the calendar, the matter of Furling versus Slayball. Parties have been sworn in, Your Honor. You may be seated.
Business?
Yes, silk screen printing.
And in 2017, according to your complaint, you sold that business to the defendants.
Correct.
For how much?
$800,000.
And were you paid in 2017 the majority of the $800,000?
Yes, I was.
How much were you paid?
$720,000.
And when were you supposed to receive the other 80?
It was a 5-year note, and they had the first 2 years deferred with interest only, and payments were supposed to begin February 1st, 2019.
According to your complaint, for whatever reason, the defendants were in default of that $80,000, or part of it. And your contract with them provides that if you have to use any legal means in order to enforce that $80,000, that you would be entitled to legal fees. You acknowledge, Mr. and Mrs. Saborg, that that's what the contract says.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Your complaint is that you agreed to go to mediation. You went to mediation, you hired an attorney, you paid for the mediation, which was unsuccessful, at least in part because Mrs. Slaybog didn't show up.
That's correct.
So my first question, just a second. My first question,
January 8th.
Of what year?
2019.
Oh, 2020.
I'm sorry, 2020. I'm sorry, 2020.
Were you present?
No, I was not.
Were you on the contract for the sale of the business?
Yes.
Do you have a document that shows me that you had given your husband your power of attorney on that date to mediate?
No, I don't have a document, no.
Were you hospitalized?
No, I had the flu, though. I was sick.
Do you have medical note to show me that you were sick?
No.
Then you have to pay her legal fees.
Ma'am,
then you have to pay her legal fees.
I am an officer for the corporation
also
as well.
is.
So we were essentially negotiating for the corporation.
No, you were both supposed to be there. Your wife said she had the flu. Did the matter go to mediation? Did you each testify?
We both, we went, both parties went to mediation, Your Honor,
No.
yes.
I did not testify.
Well, not all the parties went to mediation. Your wife didn't go, and she was a signatory to the contract.
That's true.
She was a signatory to the contract.
But the corporation essentially was the entity.
Well, you say the corporation went. Who signed the contract?
Both she and I as officers of the corporation.
Just a second. Hold on. No, this purchase and sale agreement, Slayball, or a corporation to be created but had not been created, so the only people that signed the contract were you and your wife.
No, ma'am.
I don't see anybody signing it.
That was signed in December. I think in December of 2019, the corporation was
2016.
16, sorry, yeah.
In December 28th, 2016.
Right, the corporation was formed December 20th of 2019, and all of the escrow, 2016. And all of the documents, all the escrow, everything is done in the corporate name thereafter.
I don't care. What I have are the documents that indicate that you and your wife both signed the purchase-sale agreement. That's what I have.
Well, right,
That's all
ma'am,
that I have.
Ma'am, I think that purchase
That's all that I have.
I think that purchase and sale agreement specifies that a note would be created. The note was ultimately created during the escrow process. And then there's terms within the note that specify kind of the way things went. So there was an offset provision in the note.
Would you tell me why your wife didn't show up to the mediation?
Because she didn't want to get everybody sick. I mean, she wasn't feeling well. She didn't want to get everybody sick. I mean, I guess, especially these days, we should appreciate that.
Did you call the plaintiff or the media sick? We have to postpone this mediation. Just answer my question. Did you call?
No, we did not.
Did you call?
No, we did not.
And don't you think that that's a little outrageous?
No, ma'am. In fact,
don't you think that that's a little outrageous?
I think actually, I'd like to take a look at the mediation. I believe the mediation was called out in the corporate name, so there was a corporate representative.
Why don't you pay attention to my question? Mm-hmm. My question was, if your wife wasn't feeling well, civilized people put in a call to the mediator who was being paid and to opposing counsel or their opposition and say, my wife, who may or not be there as a witness, is not feeling well today. We're going to have to postpone.
We may have. We may have mentioned to the mediator. We saw it as a corporate matter, and we had officers of the corporation.
Okay. Now, do you have a separate matter pending for any of the balance of this $80,000?
I don't have any matter pending.
Do you?
No. A separate matter? Well, there are three things that they have signed off on that I have problems with, and before I can take them to court and actually sue them on these things, I had to agree to mediation. And so that's why we went to mediation first.
That's not true.
But just a second. So what you are telling me is that you do intend there is of that $80,000.
There is the possibility.
Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, there is the possibility of that, but I'm not sure yet. At the moment, I'm not sure that I would get any money if I did take them to court. I've been advised how much it would cost me to take them and the chances of collecting. I have a statute of limitations that I've been advised on, and so I still have
Ms.
time.
Furling, you have to understand that I am not entertaining your case unless I have a clear, unequivocal statement that you do not intend to pursue the balance of the purchase price, because in that proceeding, you will be entitled to counsel fees. So I need a clear, unequivocal statement that they are going to rely on, that you have no intention and you will not be filing a lawsuit against them.
At this time.
And it will be binding.
At this time, I do not have
not
any
at
plans.
this time. Sorry, doesn't work for me.
Right.
You have to say clearly, unequivocally, that you will not file a lawsuit for the balance of the purchase price, because in that lawsuit, pursuant to your contract, you would be able to seek counsel fees. I am not going to entertain your case unless you don't say to me at this time. You have to say to me against the defendants for any part of the purchase price. This matter today will resolve all issues, including counsel fees. Do you understand?
I do understand, but may I back up a little bit?
Okay,
This is not the first time that I have sought legal fees. We had a first set of lawyers when they first defaulted on the loan, and I had to hire a lawyer, and we did a lot of back and forth, and it came to a certain amount, and they paid for it. I'm entitled to be reimbursed for enforcement and collection.
Very good. I have to tell you, I'm not repeating myself again.
Well, I guess I will say
I'm
so.
not repeating myself.
Yes, I will not pursue it. I will not pursue the $80,000 that they owe me on the non-negotiable note in the future. And I would like legal fees to reimburse me.
Counsel fees.
I'm sorry?
Then you're entitled to counsel fees. What were your counsel fees for the mediation?
It came to, I have it written down, it was $4,000.
No,
You want me to get the exact agreement?
Yes, I want you to give me the exact, you're entitled to counsel fees.
Yes, I have it right here.
For the mediation.
I spent $2,500 for the lawyer.
I'd like to see proof of that, please.
There's the first check, which was $500. Would you like me to put in the second one?
Yes.
That's the second one for $2,000.
Okay, good. Next.
And then...
So that was for the lawyer.
Here's the invoice for ADR services. Came to $23.75.
That was for the mediation service?
That was for the mediation service. And here's the proof of payment was done on my credit card.
That comes to $48.75.
Yes.
Yeah, that's your judgment. Now, you have a counterclaim. Your counterclaim is for libel, slander. I see you have no witnesses. What proof do you have that she libeled, slandered you, and caused you to lose business?
Ma'am, we have several emails that she sent to customers, sales representatives, essentially people that were supporting.
No, just a second. Just a second. Well, I'd like to see copies of those emails. And then, of course, on the second part of your claim, that would be for libel or slander. The second part of your claim is that you lost business as a result of that. Correct. And then you would have to have a witness that says that they believed that, and therefore you lost business. So first, let's put down.
Sure.
First, let's put down on the screen the emails that she sent.
That's the first one.
That's not libelous.
Well,
next.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
The contract that you had with the defendants is clear, and it's an enforceable contract.
But that wasn't the context of
That
the
is what
environment.
you mean. I don't understand what you mean, context. There is no context in a contract.
Janie Furling claims Russell and Juliet Slaybaugh owe for legal fees after the couple defaulted on the purchase of her business. The defendants are countersuing for loss of business due to slander and defamation.
Now, you did, in fact, default on your loan.
No, ma'am, we did not. There's a provision in the note that was properly offset on August 22nd because we followed the letter of the note, sent a certified letter to Ms. Furling. There was never a detailed response according to the letter of the note. And so on August 22nd, it was offset.
Do you still have your business?
Yes.
Are you still running your business?
Yes.
Goodbye. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $48.75. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Your Honor.
This case is concluded. You're excused.
I respect Judge Judy. She heard the evidence and she ruled the way she did, and I'm actually relieved it's over.
Well, I am pleased that I got reimbursed for my legal fees.
She called customers, all kinds of things like that.
I sold to the wrong people.
Dirksen Hughes. Step to the podium.
Jessica Isham is suing James Hughes and his wife, Penelope Dirksen Hughes, for the cost of a cat and vet bills.
Miss Isham, you purchased a kitten from the defendants. It was a Bengal kitten.
Correct, Your Honor.
They're very sweet animals. And you purchased the kitten from them on the 25th of March.
Correct.
Of this year. Is that correct?
Correct.
How much did you pay for the kitten?
$600.
And you found the ad where?
Online.
Do you have a written contract?
Yes, we have a contract.
The defendants gave you? I'd like to see it.
Sure. Try not to bend it. That's it.
Okay, this is the contract that you had.
Correct.
To the best of my knowledge, the above kitten is in good condition and health with no congenital defects. The purchaser, that would be you, must take the kitten to a professional veterinarian within 72 hours. If this veterinarian finds the above kitten to be in poor health or to have a congenital defect, the purchaser must bring a signed statement for the veterinarian as to the problem within 72 hours of the purchase for a full refund. Breeder will not be responsible for any veterinary bills after 72 congenital defects, which are guaranteed for 1 year with written confirmation from a professional veterinarian.
Correct.
So this is what happened. You did not take the kitten to a veterinarian within 72 hours. That's clear.
Because of COVID.
From your statement. Whatever the reason, when you purchased the kitten, the country was already in the midst of the pandemic, which according to you was one of the reasons you wanted the kitten.
Correct.
So you could have modified that contract when you signed it and said, if I can't get to a vet within 72 hours, can I have a week? But you didn't. You signed this contract. Several weeks later, you took the kitten to the vet. And according to you, the vet found that the kitten had suffered some sort of an infection, which required surgery. It was expensive. They also took blood from the kitten and found that the kitten had some sort of a feline COVID. And you ultimately, after a lot of money in vet bills, decided that the kitten could not be saved and you had her euthanized.
Correct.
That's what happened.
Correct.
And you believe that the defendants should be responsible for your veterinary bills as well as a refund for the kitten.
Correct.
I don't see that, Ms. Isham. You had a contract.
Yes, but I think because also because she wasn't just having FIP, she had FIV, ascites, several different illnesses that were from the chronic condition that she had when I got the cat.
Well, what you indicate in your complaint is that the defendants never had a blood test of the kitten.
Correct.
A blood test is not a usual test that breeders have of either kittens or puppies before they sell them. At whatever age they sell them, they very often have their vet checked and or have vaccinations. But breeders don't have a blood draw. I've certainly bought enough dogs and cats to know that.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
They didn't breach your contract. They didn't breach the contract for the sale of a
several
kitten.
verbal contracts with me, aside from the written one.
You cannot have a verbal contract once you have a written one.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Jessica Isham claims James Hughes and his wife, Penelope Dirksen Hughes, sold her a sick cat. Jessica says the cat had to be put down after only 2 months.
Now, what I found more interesting from the defendant's side is you called them several weeks later, and at that time, despite the fact that they were under no contractual obligation to you, they said to you, we will give you a new kitten if you want.
I didn't want a cat from them because they sold me a sick cat. Because their environment is what induced her health issues.
You're not entitled to your vet bills, and you're not entitled to a refund for the kitten because you had a contract, and the contract was clear. Your obligation was to have the kitten vet checked within 72 hours. If, and I don't mean to make you feel guilty, but if you had done that, it is possible that the kitten would not have had the kind of infection that it did if, in fact, it was in a cat fight, as you suggest that it was, and the fur was covering over this wound. But the vet, if it had been checked weeks earlier, might have found it before it infected it badly.
It wasn't.
So,
I wasn't.
You know,
able
there's a. Go ahead. You weren't able to because
I was not able to make an appointment because most of the vets were closed. I got an appointment quickly after I realized that she was lethargic.
But Miss Isham, that's not what your contract says. Your contract doesn't say that you have 72 hours after you notice some symptom of the kitten that you don't like. The contract that you had with the defendants is clear. It says your responsibility, kitten, your choice, is to take the kitten to the vet within 72 hours of the purchase. You didn't do that. And it's an enforceable contract.
But that wasn't the context of
that
the
is what
environment.
you mean. I don't understand what you mean, context. There is no context in a contract.
Well, then why
It's a
did they string
contract.
me along? Like they were going to help me. Like they gave me information about FIP and where to get medicine, and they kept, you know, we'll get back to you. Oh, we'll help you. Oh, this, oh, that. It really felt like
they were being nice people. They even offered you a new kitten. They're
why
not
would I want
responsible
another
for your
sick
vet bills.
cat? Like I don't.
I don't know why.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
They didn't breach your contract. They didn't breach the contract for the
she
sale
had several
of a kitten.
verbal contracts with me aside from the written one.
You cannot have a verbal contract once you have a written one. That's the law. If you have a written contract, the only way you can modify that written contract is by another written contract. That's the only way you can do it. She did, in fact, say to you, in breach of that contract, but I feel sorry for you. I'll give you a new kitten if you like. She wasn't obligated because what your complaint was initially was that the cat was lethargic because it had this infection. You know, breeders don't know where the infection came from. You brought the cat home on March 25th. What was the date of your first appointment with the vet?
4/16.
So that was 3 weeks later.
I got the appointment on April 4th for the 16th. That's when I could get in.
Whatever it was, you had the kitten at home in your house for 3 weeks.
Because based on the conversation...
Sorry, Miss Isham, you don't have a case. Your case is dismissed. We're done. Thank you very much.
This case is concluded, and they step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy, a breakdown showdown.
As soon as we got on the freeway, the check engine light turned on.
You sold this car within a couple of months. Something doesn't smell right to me.
Judge Judy.
She was sick with more than 4 different illnesses.
I think she made the right decision. It was logical, reasoned, and informed.
That could not have occurred in that time frame that I had her.
It's very unfortunate, you know, these things happen, but I don't think it's our fault.
When you buy a used car,
covered.
Who wrote up this bill of sale?
I did, Your Honor.
If repairs exceeded $1,000, you would take the car back.
Correct, Your Honor.
Then a breakdown showdown.
As soon as we got on the freeway, the check engine light turned on.
You sold this car within a couple of months. Something doesn't smell right to me.
This is Judge Judy. Zachary and Alexa Parry are suing Diane Donges for the refund on the sale of a car, repair costs, and registration fees.
Your Honor, this is case number 22 on the calendar in the matter of Perry versus Donges. Parties have been sworn in, Your Honor. You may be seated.
Thanks, Bird.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. and Mrs. Perry, you purchased a used car from the defendant that you found on Craigslist, and that was in July of this year. Is that right?
Yes.
And now we're about 6 weeks later, and you're dissatisfied with the car. You want your money back.
Yes, Your Honor.
That's where we're at. And Ms. Donges says that you bought a used car. You bought it as is. There was no warranty on the car. Do you have a bill of sale?
I do, Your Honor. I brought it with us today.
I'd like to take a look at it.
Awesome.
Could you put it up there for me? Thank you. Make, license, model, VIN, understands firms that the above information is pass smog or initial assessment results in $1,000 or more. The sale is nullified. And then the seller's name, July 17th, and the buyer's name. Okay. So that's a very interesting. Who wrote up this bill of sale?
I did, Your Honor.
Ms. Donges, you read the bill of sale before you signed it?
Yes.
And you understood that by signing this bill of sale, what you were saying is that you were only warranting two things. That the sale was nullified if the car didn't pass smog. Did the car pass smog?
It did, Your Honor.
And the only other thing that you were warranting was that if repairs on the car exceeded $1,000, you would take the car back.
Correct, Your Honor.
And I would assume Mr. and Mrs. Perry are going to tell me that the transmission went on the car and the repairs are in excess of $1,000.
Yes, ma'am.
Correct?
Yes.
Okay. So you bought the car on, did I see July 17th?
Yes.
And I understand, and I read in the papers, that when you bought the car, you knew that the air conditioning wasn't working.
Yes, so the defendant had told us that it should just need an AC service.
Well, what she told you is not an issue. You knew that when you bought it, did you have the air conditioning fixed?
We did.
And how much did that cost you?
So it was only supposed to be an AC flush, costing about $125.
That's not what I asked you. Listen to me. It's not what I asked you. I asked you how much it cost you to fix the air conditioning.
It cost us $618.
Okay, so that's less than $1,000.
Correct.
So far, the defendant is in the clear.
Correct.
In what month did you have the air conditioning fixed?
On the 7/21, so within 3 days.
Good. Couple of days.
Yes.
And the car was running okay until that time?
We actually didn't drive it except to the air conditioning shop, which is less than a mile from our apartment.
Okay. And you picked it up on the 21st?
We picked it up on the 22nd.
When did you again have trouble with the car?
So the following day, the 23rd, we got in the car to take it to our mechanic. And as soon as we got on the freeway, the check engine light turned on. We felt unsafe continuing. Our mechanic is about 40 minutes away. So we turned back and went to our house. That was the first time we had driven it, even on the freeway. And so the following morning, we took it back to the same mechanic that had done the air conditioning repairs. And that's when we found, we got two estimates for the transmission ranging from 40 built versus a brand new. And then we got a second opinion from a different shop with an estimate of $4,800.
Okay, do you have those estimates?
I do.
I'd like to see them, please.
So this one is for the brand new transmission.
Okay.
This one is for the rebuilt transmission at the same shop.
Okay.
And this one is from the second place we got additional opinion from.
Okay, all more than $1,000.
Yes.
On what date did you call the defendant?
I shot her a text message that afternoon asking for her email.
On the 23rd?
On the 24th.
On the 20th?
Yes. She did not respond, so on the 25th, we sent her a piece of registered mail and a text message with all of the estimates, as well as a demand letter asking for our money back in return for the car. And we never heard from her.
Where is the car now?
It's still parked in our parking spot. It hasn't moved.
Is the car currently registered in your name?
It is.
You bought the car 3 months before you sold it to them, is that right?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
Who did you buy it from?
I purchased it from a shop in Vista, where I live.
Name of the shop? And tell me why you purchased it.
The owner there, I purchased a different vehicle from him, and it was not as nice as the Elantra. So when I paid off the other vehicle before the Elantra, when I went to go pay off the vehicle, he said, I have a better vehicle for you if you'd like to get out of the older one. And I said, sure, because the other vehicle that I was driving didn't look great, and I was ready to go into the new Elantra. So that's why I purchased it from him.
Okay, and how much did you pay him for it?
$6,800.
And you had it for 3 months?
That's right.
And you sold it for how much?
$4,600.
You want to tell me why after 3 months you took a $2,100 loss on the car, Ms. Donges?
I purchased another vehicle, a BMW from an auto auction here in LA for a very good price. It's what I always wanted, a German car. And I did that on June 6th because I didn't really expect to find the car I wanted by going to that auction, but I did. And when I brought it home, I'm only allotted one car spot to park my car where I rent a room.
Is there a lien on the car that you sold to the plaintiffs?
No lien.
Is there a lien on the car?
There was a lien on the car, yes.
There was, not there is.
There what?
There was, because I was purchasing that other vehicle, the Hyundai Elantra.
Listen to me carefully.
Okay.
On the car that you say yes or a no?
There was a lien holder, correct? Yes.
Who is the lien holder?
Advanced Auto, the shop.
How much?
It was $4,640 was what I had to pay.
Did you pay them off?
Yes.
Just a second. Did you pay them?
Yes.
Is my question. Did you pay them?
Absolutely, yes.
Did you pay Advanced Auto?
Yes.
Is that correct, that you got a clear title to the car when you registered it?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you paid $4,600 for the car?
Yes.
Is that correct? And you want your money back?
Yes, ma'am.
And pursuant to the contract, Ms. Donges, they are entitled to their money back because in order to fix the car, to make it drivable, they have to spend more than $1,000. You signed the agreement. You sold this car within a couple of months. Something doesn't smell right to me. Ordinarily, you do understand that when you buy a used car, you buy it as it is. Just for my own information, what prompted you to put in that caveat in the contract that said if any of the mechanics need fixing in excess of $1,000, without a date, by the way? It doesn't say within a week, within a month. It just said, $1,000. What prompted you to put that in?
So typically look at them, but the defendant worked until 7, so she could not meet until 7:30. So I felt a little uncomfortable not having a mechanic able to look at it, so I thought that might just protect us.
That's very good, because I was going to say, good idea when buying a used car to have a mechanic check it out.
Yeah.
But in this case, the contract is clear. You're entitled to your money back. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $4,600. Thank you. We're done.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
Well, we're very happy to get our money back and finally be able to put this behind us and move on.
I've learned do not sign anything that's kind of open-ended like that.
With the transmission issue, we don't know what's going to happen. I'm not a car mechanic, and I don't know that.
That said, they got a really good deal for the $4,600, and if they didn't want the vehicle...
And we were trusting heavily with what our mechanics was saying.
Perhaps they should have put a for sale sign up there, because there's nothing wrong with the transmission.
We wanted to make sure all of our T's and I's were dots and crossed so we could make sure we have a safe vehicle for my family.
There was just nothing wrong with the transmission. There was maybe some buyer's remorse.
The first time when I was driving it to get it looked at and the check engine light came on.
That I understand now whenever I purchase a vehicle and it says at the bottom as is.
Definitely have your mechanic look at it next time, even though we have a great contract.
That's for a reason. I will never do this again.
It would have saved a lot of time and energy if we would have met at a mechanic.
Rel, step to the podium, please.
Graham Curlin is suing fellow motorist Jeremiah Merrill for backing into his car in a convenience store parking lot.
Mr. Curlin.
Yes, Your Honor.
Each one of you claimed that an automobile accident that occurred in a parking lot was the fault of the other. And according to what I read, this automobile accident happened on January 20th of this year.
That's correct.
And you were driving a 2019 Honda.
That's correct.
Do you own it or lease it?
I own it.
When did you purchase it?
I believe November of 2019.
You bought it new?
It was used, 6,000 miles on it.
Who did you buy it from?
Norm Reeves Honda in Huntington Beach.
Did you pay cash for it?
No.
Or do you have a loan on it?
I have a loan on it.
You have a loan on it?
Yes.
And who holds the loan?
Honda Finance.
And in your agreement with Honda Finance, you have to maintain insurance, both liability and collision.
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you have insurance?
I did.
And what was the deductible on your insurance?
$1,000.
Okay, so that your claim for $5,000 is sort of ridiculous, right? Because you had the car fixed, I assume.
I got the car fixed. The number is contingent on what I had to go through.
I don't care what you...
Okay.
It's a car accident, sir. It's a car accident. It's not a hanging. So you had a $1,000 to Honda to fix it.
I paid the $1,000 to
Did you
Honda to fix
pay?
it. Yes.
Yes, and you paid them by check?
By card. I have the receipt right here.
By credit card. And the credit card says $1,000?
Yes, Your Honor.
Show me.
I also have a bank statement.
This accident happened in January, and you didn't have the car fixed until June.
Correct.
Any reason for that?
I had to save the money to pay for it.
Save what money?
The $1,000
For the deductible.
Correct.
Okay. Very good. So now that we figured out that $5,000 is not the right figure, you're actually suing for $1,000, which is your deductible. You went to a convenience store where this accident took place in the parking lot. Was anybody in the car with you?
Yes. My coworker, Dave, was in the car in the front passenger seat with me.
Okay, good. I'm going to hear from him in a moment.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I asked him if he was okay. He said, yeah, he's fine. He asked me if I was okay. I said, yeah. He also mentioned that his brother has a body shop and that we can go and get it fixed right now.
Does your brother have a body shop?
No.
Just a second. Does your brother have a body shop?
No, that's incorrect.
Who do you know that has a body shop?
Says fellow motorist Jeremiah Morrell backed out of a parking spot and backed into his car.
What time of the day did you arrive in the parking lot to go to the convenience store?
Around 12:30.
What did you buy?
I believe some water. I was on my lunch break from work.
Had you had lunch?
I did. And we went there
What did you have for lunch?
Del Taco, right across the parking lot.
So what did you go to the convenience store for?
To get water.
They didn't have that at the taco place?
No, not bottled water to take back to work.
Okay. Did you want the bottled water, or did your friend Dave?
I believe he got some items, but I went there to get a beverage for myself.
And you got it and got back into the car?
Correct.
And you were parked alongside other cars, so you started to back out?
Correct.
You have the diagram. I'd like it put up. Good. So you are one parking slip away from the defendant. Was there a car parked in between you and the defendant?
There was.
So that's missing a car, a green car, in between plaintiff and defendant. There was one car missing.
Correct.
In that diagram.
Correct.
Okay. So you pulled out backwards and you were proceeding to exit the parking lot.
Correct.
And at what point did you see the defendant starting to back?
From the top of the car that was next to me, I saw that he was pulling out. At that point, I applied my brakes to a complete stop.
Just 1 second. What kind of car was parked in between?
A sedan.
Do you remember?
I don't remember exactly what it was. It was a sedan, though.
It was a sedan?
Yes.
Do you remember, sir?
Yeah, it was a van.
It was a van?
Yeah.
So a big car?
Yeah.
So when you saw him starting to pull out, you applied your brakes?
Correct.
What happened next?
I held my horn down without lifting it up. My car was completely stopped. I had my horn down. His truck continued to back out. I'm assuming he did not hear me. His trailer hitch impacted my grill where he did not stop. He continued until his bumper pushed up my hood. I have the evidence of the pictures of what the car looks like afterwards. But at that point, he stopped his car. I saw his reverse lights go, and then he went back into his spot. I pulled right next to him. Me and the witness, my coworker, got out of the car. I asked him if he was okay. He said, yeah, he's fine. He asked me if I was okay. I said, yeah. And then what had happened is his phone didn't work, and so he wanted me to take pictures of everything and send it to him. He also mentioned that his brother has a body shop and that we can go and get it fixed right now.
Does your brother have a body shop?
No.
Just a second. Does your brother have a body shop?
No, that's incorrect.
Who do you know that has a body shop?
Back completely out of my spot, came to a stop, and I was struck from behind, pulled back into my spot. I turned all my stuff into my insurance. My insurance did their due diligence and decided a no fault for both parties.
He's leaving out a bunch of information.
Okay, good. Just a second.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Graham Curlin says fellow motorist Jeremiah Morrell backed out of a parking spot and backed into his car.
Does your brother have a body shop?
No.
Just a second. Does your brother have a body shop?
No, that's incorrect.
Who do you know that has a body shop?
My brother owns a car dealership, and I suggested that he does have body shops.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. All right, good.
So, and he's a witness to that as well. And I said
I believe, so far I'm believing you. You don't have to worry. So far I'm believing you.
All right. So I said I couldn't do that. I'm on my lunch break. I have to go back to work. And then he said, okay, let's just let our insurance take care of it. And I was okay. And I asked him at that point, are you admitting fault? And he said, yes. And I also have my witness here to attest to that. We got back into the car. I went back to work. He left.
Well, did you exchange insurance information and license and registration?
Yes, I have pictures.
You did that?
Yes, I have pictures of all that. Would you like to see them?
Okay. I'd like to see photographs of your car.
Okay.
Would you point to where the initial impact was on the grill and on the bumper?
Oh, right here.
Yeah. I want to know, you said first his car, the trailer hitch, hit the grill or the bumper. Which was it? I don't remember.
It was the trailer hitch. The trailer hitch impacted my grill.
Your grill?
Yes, and then he continued until his bumper
continued to go back.
Yeah, because he has like a 2002 Silverado, and so it's higher off the ground. And what you see here is where the bumper hit the hood and pushed it up. And this is another image of my hood, like where it ended up. It ended up
so would you take that top picture away and go to the one right before it. Show me, point on the picture. It's more towards one side. It's not right in the middle. Is that correct?
Oh, where the bumper did?
Yes. It's more towards one side.
It's on the right side.
Right. I got it.
Because he wasn't completely pulled out. Okay.
That's enough. Perfect. Now I got it. Okay. Story.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Okay. Story.
I came into the 7-Eleven, and I'd gone inside. I backed completely out of my spot, came to a stop, and I was struck from behind, pulled back into my spot, like you said. We exchanged information, and I turned all my stuff into my insurance. My insurance did their due diligence, went through all the information, and decided a no fault for both parties.
He's leaving out a bunch of information.
Okay, good. Just a second. You backed out and you didn't see his little car. That's what happened. You backed out and you didn't see his little car.
I backed out and I looked both ways and I didn't see his car, and he was in a hurry going through the parking lot.
You didn't see his... No. You backed out and didn't see his car, sir. That's what happened.
Okay.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,000. We're finished. Thank you very much.
Parties are excused.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
You were laid off because of COVID?
A couple says the virus left them vulnerable.
You were illegally locked out.
She threatened to punch me in the face.
Judge Judy.
I think the accidents happen, and I turned mine into my insurance. I gladly paid my $1,000 deductible. He could have done the same. He tried to fight it. He didn't want to pay his $1,000 deductible.
I think she's right on. She made a good choice.
I'm happy that he got his $1,000. He's got his car fixed. I love how he brought up integrity, because he's not suing me for the $1,000 or the $2,800.
I asked for his insurance.
That was the damage. He sued me for $10,000 so him and his buddies could...
And he gave me an old insurance card.
Collaborate together and take a little vacation.
Police do not show up unless there's an injury on site.
But I think it's ridiculous that he's trying to sue me for an extra $8,000 for loss of wages. I bet he doesn't make $8,000 a month.
I'm glad it's settled.
I mean, accidents happen.
They packed up all of our stuff and had it by the front door.
A couple says the virus left them vulnerable.
You were laid off in early February because of COVID?
Yes, ma'am.
The landlord's cure?
We actually were locked out of the house in February.
Was to kick them out.
You were illegally locked out.
She cursed me out and threatened to punch me in the face.
This is Judge Judy. Sharon Suessy and her boyfriend, Deontay Lawrence, are suing their former landlord, Eilena James, for the return of rent, the value of their belongings, and an illegal lockout.
Yeah, this is case case number 14 on the calendar in the matter of suicide. Sworn in. You may be seated.
Thanks, Bird.
You're welcome, Judge.
Miss Suicide, you and Mr. Lawrence live together. He's your boyfriend.
Yes.
And you have a child, according to what I read here.
Yes, I have a 3-year-old.
And Mr. Lawrence is not that child's father.
No, ma'am.
You and Mr. Lawrence are expecting a child of your own?
Yes.
Okay. When did you move into a house that is owned by Mrs. James?
We moved in October 1st of 2019.
How did you find that room?
Her granddaughter is actually one of my friends. We grew up at the church together.
But Miss James was not living in the house. Her granddaughter was living in the house. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
So whatever arrangement you made with regard to living in the house, whatever agreement was made with the granddaughter?
Yes, she was acting
and
as the house manager.
And you did not have a written lease with her?
No, ma'am.
How many other people lived in the house?
When we first moved
Other than, yes.
There was a total of 10 people, 7 adults and 3 kids.
Miss James, did you know that there were all those people living in your house?
No.
And you allowed your granddaughter to stay there? Was she supposed to pay rent?
Yes, she was.
Was she working?
Yes.
Okay. And what was the rent she was supposed to pay?
She was supposed to pay $3,000 a month.
Did she pay it?
Yes.
And I assume that you knew that in order for her to pay the rent, she was going to have to rent out some of the rooms.
No, that was not the agreement. That's she and her family. She had a husband and a child.
All right, so Miss Suicide, let's go back to you.
Yes, ma'am. We moved in there October of 2019.
Right. And what was your rental arrangement with Miss James's granddaughter?
We would move in the beginning of October, the October 1st to be exact. We would pay $600 a month. That was rent, including utilities. It was also supposed to include Wi-Fi in the house. When we got there were already roommates there, and that's what prolonged us to move in. Instead of moving in September, we moved in October because she still had other tenants in the house.
Other people there?
Yes.
Okay. So you lived there in October?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you pay your $600 a month in October?
Yes, ma'am. The original agreement was to pay every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks?
Yes.
So you paid $300 every 2 weeks?
It was every 2 weeks, and then if you could not pay, inform her because she already takes care of the $3,000 was the mortgage at the time. So she already was taking care of the $3,000, and you just paid her.
You had a fixed rent.
Yes, ma'am.
Listen, you had a fixed rent. What I'm asking you is, in the month of October, did you pay $600?
Yes, ma'am.
In the month of November, did you pay $600?
I actually paid $800. They raised the rent on October the 20th.
In November?
Yes.
In December, did you pay the $800 a month rent?
Yes, ma'am.
In January, February, did you pay the $800 a month rent?
No, and that's when the altercation began, and I gave them a 30-day notice to leave. Deontay was laid off due to the virus.
In February?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Lawrence, what kind of work were you doing?
I'm a cargo handler at LAX.
When in February were you laid off? That's a very early date to be. Miss Suicide, I'm not speaking to you.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm speaking to Mr. Lawrence now. Mr. Lawrence.
I was laid off in February, early February.
You were laid off in early February because of COVID?
Yes, ma'am.
Not March.
Not March.
Are you sure about that?
I'm sure.
Your Honor, we also have a letter from his job as well, stating his layoff paper.
I'd like to see it.
It's right here.
Okay. You are being laid off temporarily on February 14th. And they have temporary lack of work due to coronavirus. Please refer to California Programs Unemployment. Okay. So you did work half a month in February.
Yes.
And how much was your paycheck every 2 weeks?
Around $400, $500. But around that time, we was slow on work, and we were barely making our 40-hour mark. And then that's what led us to being laid off, because there wasn't enough work going on.
But you did get 2 pay. Susie, what kind of work do you do?
At the time, I was working for AT&T. I lost my job November the 4th. So I was Lyft driving, I was Postmating, DoorDash, those self-contracted. So that's how I was paying my portion of the rent.
Okay. So in February,
yes, ma'am,
when he was laid off, you knew it was temporary, but he did get paid for half a month of February, and you were still working.
In the end of January, my car broke down, and that's obviously how I drive, is because I have to, deliver food and stuff. So I ended up having to get a new car in February 4th to be exact. I had to buy a new car. So for about 3 weeks, we didn't have any income from my portion at all. So those 2 paychecks that he got, we had to pay back bills as well. So we didn't really have any money. It was maybe checks were $400.
Did you get a new car?
Yes.
What kind of car did you get?
Pre-owned Honda Accord.
How much do you pay a month on the car?
Oh, I paid $389 for my car note and about $215 for car insurance.
So about $600 a month.
Correct.
Okay. So you moved out in what month?
We actually were locked out of the house in February. February 28th, to be exact, was the first day of the lockout. And then February 29th, we were completely locked out. I gave a notice of 30 days on February 11th to Janine and to Eilina.
And where?
To come back home.
Did your father agree to let you move home?
Yes, due to the situation, he allowed me to come back because I had my son.
With Mr. Lawrence?
No, Mr. Lawrence, I'm sorry. Deontay actually went back to his mother's house.
And that was your plan on the 11th, so that you could save money?
Yes, until we can figure out what our next steps were going to be.
Okay. The reason I'm asking these questions is because it's fine that you were planning because of his job situation. You were going to buy a new car and have a substantial car payment. I mean, you're trying to be organized. But you realize that up until February 11th, you had income from Mr. Lawrence, at least from Mr. Lawrence, and you paid zero in rent.
Yes, so
for the month of February.
I paid nothing in February because I had multiple conversations with, at that time, Janine had took over as house manager since the granddaughter had moved out of state. I had multiple conversations with her telling her I was not working and then I will pay at the end of the month. And I actually submitted an evidence for a text message that Eilina texted the granddaughter knowing that I would pay on February 29th, and they still locked us out on the 28th.
How were you going to pay on February 29th?
Because once I got my car, I Lyft drove, Postmated, day in, day out, like 5 to 6 hours a day. Because at that time, my son was in daycare as well, so I was like Lyft driving consistently.
No, I get the idea that the two of you were really trying to put it together and to be responsible. But the bottom line of your responsibility was with regard to the roof over your head. Mm-hmm. You chose not to pay any rent in February, the beginning of February, or the middle of February while still living there. You bought a new car. You were paying $600 a month for the car. You were paying $600+ a month to keep your son in daycare. That's $1,200. The only one that you weren't paying anything to for you and for Mr. Lawrence was to the landlord, and you were planning on leaving. I say all those things, Miss Suisi, because you're suing the defendant for $5,000.
Yes, ma'am.
And you're suing her for $5,000 for reasons that you say a partial return of rent. Well, why do you think you're due a partial return of rent?
Well, when we first made the arrangement to move into the house, we were told we would have a room. When we first got there, we lived in a loft. No door, no window. Oh, it had one window. We had to go upstairs. We had to pull the stairs down to even get to the loft. It was literally a small little box. We lived out of boxes for 4 months up until December. So October to December, we lived in that loft. We eventually moved down in January. At that time, we first moved in by another tenant. But in November, we found out that one of the roommates in the room, which happens to be her grandson, he's a schizophrenic. We weren't told that when we moved in. We've had to make multiple phone calls to the police to come take care of him, to take him to the hospital. I ended up having to send my son away to stay with his dad for about October to January, full time. I would wake up every morning, 6 a.m. to get to LA to take him to and from school, etc. Just because of the safety of the house. The house never stayed clean.
Okay, Miss Suisi, let me stop you. Everyday grown-ups deal with choices, especially people who think they're grown up enough to have 2 children. And you and Mr. Lawrence had a choice. Mr. Lawrence had a choice to go home to his mother's house if he was not happy. You had a choice to ask your father if you could come home if you were not happy. You didn't have a lease. You were on a month-to-month tenancy. If you weren't satisfied with the loft, there was nothing holding you there. You could have left.
Well, it wasn't that easy.
If you were not satisfied with the room, what I'm telling you is people have choices and have to accept responsibility. If I were living in a place that I was not happy with or didn't feel safe in or didn't feel safe enough for my children to live there, I would say, I'm going home to my father's house. At least I'm going to reach out to my dad and see if I can come home for a while. Mother, he's still living with his mother. So you had options. Your option was, if you didn't like the space that you were renting and paid for through February, you could have moved. So I'm not entertaining your request for a return of your rent.
We couldn't go back to our parents' house. Deontay doesn't have a room at his mother's house, and at my dad's house, my dad told me I couldn't come back.
That's not the defendant's fault.
I understand that.
That's not the defendant's fault.
But we were moved in under false circumstances, ma'am.
Listen to me. If you didn't like the loft, find another room.
We were supposed to get another room in
October.
November.
No. If you didn't like the place, find another place. You're not getting a partial return of your rent.
Okay.
Period. Those are your choices. Now, value of the property. What property are you alleging that the defendant either took from you or destroyed of yours?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
This specific picture where she's saying she left her ring, I didn't see a ring, and
That's
we
a
completely
picture of
cleaned
the
it up.
TV and the TV
and the blue
area.
boxes.
Miss Susie, was your TV sitting on top of those two blue boxes?
Yes.
Miss James, did you take Miss Susie's ring?
Sharon Susie and boyfriend Deontay James illegally evicted them during the pandemic. Eilina is countersuing for 1 month's rent, late fees, and property damage.
Now, value of the property. What property are you alleging that the defendant either took from you or destroyed of yours?
I'm paying on a ring that I purchased from Daniels. When we got locked out of the house, when we were eventually able to recover our belongings, my stuff was already packed up. They had went into the room, which had a lock on my door. They took the doorknob off to go in the room. They packed up all of our stuff and had it by the front door. My ring is missing, his birth certificate is missing, and his social is missing, and we don't know where it is.
So let me stop. Yes. Let me stop. Do you have Mr. Lawrence's Social Security card?
No.
And birth certificate?
No.
Did you ever see it?
No.
What property of theirs did you pack up? And where did you get the boxes to pack it up, Miss James?
They had boxes in their room, and I supplied some boxes, just put the stuff in the boxes and took it downstairs. We didn't
Who's
go.
we?
My daughter and I, Janine.
Okay. Would Janine stand up and stand next to your mom, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you see Mr. Lawrence's Social Security card or birth certificate?
No.
And where had you left, Miss Susie, your ring?
There, the ring was sitting next to. The ring was actually too big, so about 2 days before that, I took it off because I was going to get my nails done, and I wouldn't be able to keep it on because it wasn't staying on my finger.
Okay. Did you get your TV back?
We got everything back eventually a week and a half later.
Okay. You got everything back, you say, but the ring?
Yes, ma'am. And I'm still paying on that.
Miss James, did you take Miss Susie's ring?
No.
Janine?
No, ma'am. I have a picture of the room, this specific picture where she's saying she left her ring. I actually have a picture of that area. So before we packed up anything, I took pictures of all the spaces, and that is a picture, and I didn't see a ring, and we completely cleaned
That's a picture of the TV and the TV
and the blue
area.
boxes.
Miss Susie, was your TV sitting on top of those two blue boxes?
Yes, and the ring was somewhere right there behind the TV.
Well, somewhere is not there.
Yes,
They don't have the ring. And they packed up your stuff from that mess that was left behind. Okay. Now, with regard to the unlawful lockout, it's clear to me, Miss Susie, that you intended, based upon your own conduct, to move out by March 10th because you gave 30-day notice on February 11th, correct?
That was the second notice,
That's what you
yes.
just told me.
Yes.
Okay. So, in effect, when they locked into February, it's 9 days that you were illegally locked out.
Okay.
9 days. Now, you didn't pay rent for the month of February, and your rent was $800.
Yes, ma'am.
I need a calculator, or I need Bird. Bird?
Yes, Judge.
Can you give me a daily rate on $800 a month? Let's base it on 30 days.
If I may, Your Honor, I do have a text message
No, there's not a question. There's not a question.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
The reason I put her out was because she threatened to punch me in the face and tase my grandson.
Well, that's all a problem, but that doesn't give you the right.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Sharon Susie. and boyfriend Deontay Lawrence claim former landlord Eilena James locked them out during the pandemic.
It's the daily rate on $800.
$26.66 a day, Judge.
Okay, and can you multiply that by 9, please?
$239.94.
I'm adding these numbers together, Bert, because I have a counterclaim here for the month of February's rent, which you are owed, but if I deduct the $200 and bring them out 9 days too soon, that still leaves $550 that would be due and owing you on your rent for February, which I'm going to forfeit because I think it was wrong for you to lock them out on the 29th unless you have a reasonable explanation, because you got a 30-day notice from the plaintiffs that they were, in fact, moving out. And before that 30 days expired, because they told you they were leaving, so by the 9th of March, they were supposed to be gone. You could have changed the locks then.
Okay.
What moved you to move them out early?
Okay, first of all, they said they were leaving on January 1st, and they did not leave, they stayed. And then I had no reason to...
How did they tell you that they were leaving on January 1st?
My granddaughter told me that they were going to leave on January 1st.
But they never told you?
And they sent a text to Janine, because Janine was handling, and said they were leaving on January 1st.
Your Honor, we originally said we were leaving January the 1st because they tried to raise the rent again to $1,000. And I have a text message where I stated we will not be able to pay $1,000. And with the living conditions, I for sure was not paying $1,000, and I didn't have a room at that time either. I was living in the loft.
The reason I put her out was because she cursed me out and threatened to my grandson.
Well, that's all a problem, but that doesn't give you the right. That gives you the right to seek a protective order against her. It does a lot of things, but it doesn't give you the right to violate the law. The law says that you cannot evict anybody.
Your Honor, this was all pre-COVID. We didn't hear about COVID
What was pre-COVID?
This whole situation was pre-COVID. The whole COVID announcement didn't happen until late mid-March.
I'm checking to see. Just give me a moment, and I'll come back to you.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, Bert, do you have the date?
Yes, I believe it was March 27th, 2020, the moratorium.
March 27th?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Wasn't sure. Now, you lived in the house up until the end of February, so you owe the defendant $800 for rent.
Can I ask you, ma'am, why, if his whole situation was due to the COVID and it's a valid paper from his employer, that was half of our income right there.
That's not her problem.
But I informed him.
What? And you paid for your child's daycare. The only thing that you didn't pay for was your rent. So you owe them $800 for rent on the counterclaim. Thank you very much. We're done.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
The dog bit me on my thigh. I started screaming for her to get her dogs.
The doctor viewed 2 puncture wounds in her thigh.
She was okay.
She's being stupid.
Next Judge Judy.
There was literally 10 other people in the house before we got there.
The cleanliness of the house.
So I don't understand how she's saying it's our cleanliness.
I went to the house twice a month to clean up, and
we clean up after ourselves. We actually contributed to most of the cleaning supplies in the household.
Didn't want to rent it in the first place. Just left my granddaughter there.
I'm glad. I'm 6 months pregnant and I'm ready for it to be over.
And she rented to 1,000 people. I didn't know.
It's frightening to be bitten by a dog. She had
top dollar.
For the suturing was $7,000.
Did you have insurance?
It didn't cover this.
But she's not up front.
What do your parents do for a living?
About her own family.
My father works as a plastic surgeon.
So your father performed the surgery?
Yes, he did.
Very bad form. Not good to do here, Miss Simone.
This is Judge Judy. 19-year-old Ariella Simone is suing Michael Sobolov and his son, 19-year-old Evan, for a dog bite that occurred during a party in their home.
Judge, this is case number 27 on the calendar in the matter of Simone versus Sobolev. Parties have been sworn in.
Miss Simone, how old are you?
I'm 19.
And Mr. Sobolov, what's your son's first name?
Evan.
Evan?
Yes.
How old are you, Evan?
I'm 19.
Mr. Sobolov, you were not at home when your dog bit the plaintiff. Am I correct?
Yes, you're correct, Your Honor.
On what date did this happen?
I'm not sure. I think it was August 4th or August 5th.
Is that correct, Miss Simone?
No, it was August 3rd.
Of what year?
2019.
You left Evan alone in the house to watch the house, watch himself, and watch the dog. Am I correct, Mr. Sobolov? So you actually have no first-hand information about what happened on that day.
That's correct, Your Honor.
When did you leave?
We must have been gone.
If this happened on August 3rd...
I think we were gone for a couple of days.
Do you remember where you went?
We were in New York for business.
Who's we?
My wife and I.
And where is your usual home?
Usual home was right there.
In California?
Yes.
So you flew to New York?
Yes.
Well, if you flew to New York, you had to have been gone more than 2 days. 1 day flying and 1 day coming back. And if you went there on business, you have to accomplish business. So that's at least another day.
Your Honor, it could have been 3 days.
Do you remember what day? Could have been. Do you remember what day of the week, Miss Simone, this happened?
I believe it was Saturday.
Okay. And you were there on what kind of business, Mr. Sobolov, in New York? What's the nature of your business?
Garment manufacturing.
Well, the garment district is closed on Saturday and Sunday. So if this was a Saturday evening that your son was having a gathering at the house and you went to New York, you had to be gone more than 3 days.
It probably was 3 days, Your Honor. Again, I wasn't sure about the exact date. The trade shows in New York are usually on Sundays and Mondays, and we go to New York for trade shows, or we did before COVID.
Okay, so Sunday and Monday, and you would have come home on Tuesday.
That's correct.
Okay, so let us say that you left on Saturday. Let's go over to Evan. Evan!
Yes, Your Honor.
You have a better memory of these events? Okay.
They definitely didn't leave the day of, so I guess it was Friday or maybe a day before.
Either Thursday or Friday.
Yes, Your Honor.
And they came back on Tuesday evening.
Yes, Your Honor.
When did you tell them that the dog had bitten the plaintiff? When they were in New York or when they came home?
It wasn't until months after the event occurred when I found out there was a lawsuit involved.
So you didn't tell them at all?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, very good. And at the time, Evan, so this is a year ago, so on what date is your birthday?
August 21st, Your Honor.
So at that time, you were 17.
Yes, Your Honor.
And the plaintiff was 17. Is that correct?
I must have been 18. Oh, no.
What do you mean you must?
Sorry, 17.
Right. You were 17. How many people, Evan, did you have over at the house on Saturday night?
I believe somewhere between 10 and 15 people, Your Honor.
And had you discussed with your parents when they were leaving that you were having a bunch of teenagers over at the house?
I told them I would be having friends over.
That's a yes or a no?
Yes.
You told me you'd be having friends over. Anything more specific than that?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. At what time did you invite these friends over?
I believe it was around 7 or 8 p.m., Your Honor.
So you were having a Saturday night party. Did you specifically invite plaintiff, or was she brought by somebody else?
She was brought by someone else, Your Honor.
Were people supposed to bring their own alcohol?
I did not supply any alcohol, Your Honor. There was none in the house.
That's not my question. Oh. My question is, did you supply the alcohol?
No, Your Honor.
Or were people supposed to bring their own?
A couple of kids brought their own.
I want you to understand, Evan, that I have had 5 teenage children. I have 13 grandchildren, 11 of whom have or are currently teenagers. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Very good. So my question to you is, did you supply the alcohol or did the people bring their own?
The people brought their own, Your Honor.
Great. Did you supply the food or did people supply their own?
I'm not 100% sure if there was food.
There's always food. Either you ordered it in or you had it. You know, most 17-year-old teenage boys.
Well,
Miss Simone, food. Was there food at this party?
I don't recall there being food, actually.
Pretzels, potato chips, munchies, anything? If there's nothing much to drink, nothing much to eat, what are we all doing at his house?
There was alcohol at the party, but there was no food. Of course there was. There was no, I don't recall there being food.
Well, not a very good party. Okay. I want you to tell me how it came about that Miss Simone was bitten, and there's no question she was bitten, and there's no question she was treated in a hospital, because she's going to show me proof of that, correct, Miss Simone?
Yes.
Dog, you have a senior dog?
We did, Your Honor. He passed away in October.
And the dog passed away? Okay, but she was senior back in August of 2019.
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like to tell me how it came about that Miss Simone was bitten by your dog. And what time did it happen?
I'm pretty sure it happened around 11 p.m. and...
Okay, so everybody's been there drinking for at least 2-3 hours because it was called for 7 or 8, so now it's 11. So everybody, all the teenagers are all having a good time because parents are at a trade show across the country. 11 p.m. Go.
So most of the kids were on the lower deck of my backyard, and my dog, who was really...
What were they doing? They weren't eating?
No, standing around talking. Maybe a couple of them were drinking. And then...
And?
I mean, there's a view you can see from that spot on the backyard, and only that spot, so we were just hanging out by the view.
Okay, want to tell me what happened with the dog?
So then the dog... He would usually try to stay by my side throughout the whole time my parents were away, but his legs weren't good enough.
Don't tell me what... I asked you what happened with the dog. I don't need a history.
So the dog started...
I just need what happened with the dog on the 3rd of August at about 11 p.m. with the plaintiff. I want you to tell me.
So the dog started late. I was worried about him making noise and disturbing our neighbors. So I left the group that was hanging out on the deck of our backyard, and I walked up the stairs, and I was just sitting with him, petting him, just trying to keep him quiet. And then that was when the plaintiff came over, and she tried to pet the dog.
Came over from where?
The deck, where most of the people were.
You were downstairs?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so she came up the stairs?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, she didn't come over. She came up the stairs. And how many stairs are there?
There's one flight of stairs.
No, don't look down at anything. Hey, look here. Right here. How many stairs are there that you went up to sort of keep the dog quiet? Was the dog barking?
He was whining.
So you went upstairs to comfort the dog?
Yes, Your Honor.
And the plaintiff came up after you?
Not right after.
Is that what you're telling me? How much after?
5 or 10 minutes. So I was already sitting down with the dog.
Up on the upper level?
Yes.
On the deck?
No, it was the deck is the lower
up?
level.
And what's on the upper level?
I guess this is the front part of our backyard. I guess that's where the door to our house is.
Okay, and who was with you there?
Me and then my friend Sol, and we were both. I was petting the dog, comforting, and Sol was sitting 2 or 3 feet away.
Okay, so just you and your friend.
Yes.
And she came up the stairs.
Yes, and then slightly towards the left, because we were to the left of the staircase, and she came over.
Okay.
And then she tried to pet the dog, and as soon as her hand got close to his head, he snapped at her.
Okay, very good. May I see your medical bills, please?
Yes.
Mr. Sobolov, your son seems like a very nice young man. You know, the one thing that you should never do unless you want to have this kind of problem is leave a teenager home alone for 4 days, knowing that their parents aren't going to be home. Very bad idea. The last time that happened, that I allowed my stupidity to take over, there were 4 boats that sunk in a harbor as a result of dinghies, not big boats, but dinghies, as a result of a bunch of teenagers acting stupid. You understand? You just have to know and take that as part of a risk, that if you leave a teenager home alone, they can sniff out a parentless house better than a raccoon can sniff out fresh pizza. Okay. So you had $2,000, almost $3,000 worth of medical bills. Is that right?
Yes. So for the emergency room, it was almost $3,000. It was $7,000.
Did you have insurance?
I do have insurance, but it didn't cover this.
Why?
The emergency room wasn't covered because it was out of network. So I have Kaiser, but we went to Cedars-Sinai, and so it was out of network, so that wasn't covered. And then the surgical place I went to doesn't take the insurance I have.
Why didn't you go to a place that took the insurance that you had?
This was just most convenient for me.
I don't understand that. You have insurance through your family.
Yes.
You have insurance through your family through Kaiser?
Yes.
Let's be very, very careful with what you tell me.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Who took you to the emergency room?
Another person at the party.
Why didn't you go home? Your father's a plastic surgeon. Why wouldn't you go home for your father to irrigate the wound? Why wouldn't you go home?
And later today,
just show me where you sent him utility bills within 10 days of their accruing, because what you say is, well, you said to him that you would just take it off his deposit. Well, you can't do that under your lease.
Ariella Simone says a dog owned by Michael Sobolov bit her during a house party thrown by his son, Evan.
Okay, what do your parents do for a living?
Doctors.
Where?
My mother, she works part-time as a dentist, and my father works as a plastic surgeon.
So let me tell you this, Miss Simone. I don't believe that your medical bills were uncovered, so that's not happening for you. But I do believe, sir, that you're responsible for her pain and suffering. So now I'd like you to tell me about what happened after you were bitten.
So, well,
how many stitches did you have?
I had just one set of stitches on my arm.
How many?
I have an image. I'm not sure about the exact number, but I could pull up that image.
I'd like to take a look at it.
All right.
But just a second. Can I see the name on that bill, please? On that bill, the last bill. International Advanced Surgical. Where is that located?
It's located in Beverly Hills.
And what's the name of the doctor who performed that surgery?
Simone.
So your father performed the surgery?
Yes, he did.
Is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
Yeah, very bad form. Very bad form. Not good to do here, Miss Simone. Can I see photographs of the injury? Okay, it looks like there were about 4 or 5 stitches. Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. And your father did that for you that day or the next day?
The next day.
Who washed off the wound?
My father, and one set during at the emergency room, they irrigated it, and then also
emergency room.
Another person at the party.
Why didn't you go home? Your father's a plastic surgeon.
Yes.
Just a second. Your father's a plastic surgeon. Your mother is also in the medical field. Why wouldn't you go home for your father to irrigate the wound? Why wouldn't you go home?
I should have, but I wasn't thinking straight at the time, and the first thing we thought was just to go to the emergency room.
You have an old dog. She didn't do anything, according to your son, sir, that was aggressive towards the dog. It's frightening to be bitten by a dog. She had 5 stitches. I'm certainly not paying her father's bill for stitching her up. When you leave a kid home and there's drinking in the house, things happen. There's nothing that the plaintiff did that was aggressive. What she did here today was foolishness to not give me that information right up front. Very foolish. Judgment for the plaintiff for pain and suffering only in the amount of $1,500. We're finished. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
I went to pet the dog, and that's when the dog bit me.
This wasn't her first time at my house. She had been there the week before, and so she should have already known the drill.
I was not drinking because I actually drove there.
She was intoxicated.
If my father wasn't able to, I would have had to get it done anyway, and I would have had to pay for it anyway.
I mean, the whole story sounds very doctor to me.
All parties in the matter of Mandor versus Gresham.
Suing Stephen Gresham for the return of a security deposit for a used car lot he was renting from him.
Mr. Mandor, you leased a retail space from Mr. Gresham some 3 years ago.
That's correct.
Part of that retail space, according to what I read, is a parking lot.
Right.
And there was a building attached to that. Is that right?
That's correct.
And you sold cars out of that parking lot?
Yes,
and
Your
building?
Honor.
Used cars?
Yes, sir.
The annual rental on the property was what?
It started out at $5,500 a month and ended up at $6,000 a month. So around 60 plus thousand.
Was that pursuant to the lease?
Yes.
Okay. And you gave Mr. Gresham a $10,000 deposit when you signed the lease?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Is all that correct, Mr. Gresham?
It is, ma'am.
And I assume both of you have a copy of the lease?
Correct. Yes, Your Honor. I do.
Okay. Mr. Gresham kept some $4,700 of your deposit when the lease terminated. Up until that time, you had paid your rent.
Yes, Your Honor.
There is no claim that you had not paid your rent, so I assume you had paid your rent as a tenant. You moved out after the lease, and that's what you're suing him for, the $4,700. Correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay. Now, the defense that Mr. Gresham does not deny that he kept $4,700. This is the whole term of the lease or part of the lease, you didn't pay pursuant to the lease for trash, water, and electricity. Is that right, Mr. Gresham?
No, he did pay electricity. They did pay except for the last
July that they were there.
Just a second. Trash and water. So what you're saying is you kept his deposit because he didn't pay for trash and water.
Yes, and the last
Did you pay
month's,
the...
well, the last month's electricity bill.
And how much was the last month's electricity bill?
$77.89.
Okay, $77. Hardly worth my time.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
The lease says you have to give him notice within 10 days. What you did was
So
you
you're
waited
saying that
until
I have
the
to give
whole
him
lease
notice
was
for
over.
36 months?
Just a second. Absolutely. That's what your lease says. I assume that you wrote the lease.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Kevin Mandor says Stephen Gresham is wrongfully withholding a security deposit for a used car lot he rented from him.
Now, so that the majority of what you are claiming is for trash and water.
Correct.
The majority were trash and water included in his lease. Was they mentioned in his lease?
Yes, it is that he has
With
to pay.
trash, I'd like you to show me where.
It's in item number 6, ma'am.
Would you put it over there, sir?
Can you see it?
6. Landlord will calculate the utility bill for 12 months. Tenant will be... I can read it. You can take your finger away.
Sorry.
Well, sir, can you tell me what months you are claiming that you gave him the bills that he didn't pay? You're supposed to let him know within 10 days of the utility charge. That's what it clearly says here.
Right, and I did
you
do
give
right
him
from the
monthly
beginning.
Did you?
Right from the beginning.
Well, just show me where you sent him utility bills within 10 days of their accruing, because what you say is, well, you said to him that you would just take it off his deposit. Well, you can't do that under your lease. But what you have to do is you have to show me that you had utility bills other than this $79 that he didn't pay and that you gave him notice of.
I did give him notice.
Over a 3-year period.
It was tension all the time.
Show me that you gave him notice over 3 years.
The water bills and the...
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter.
Now, I want you to do is show me the notices that you sent to him.
He got one notice at the beginning,
that's what the
and it
lease
brought
said.
so much tension that I didn't want to argue. I just let it go. He wasn't going to pay
Oh,
it.
you just let it go. You have to return his $4,700 to him. You have to give him notice pursuant. I don't care whether you disagree or not, so that's what the lease says. The lease says you have to give him notice within 10 days. What you did was
So
you
you're
waited
saying that
until
I have
the
to give
whole
him
lease
notice
was
for
over.
36
I don't.
months?
Just a second. Absolutely. That's what your lease says. I assume that you wrote the lease. I assume that either you or your lawyers wrote the lease.
Correct.
And it says you have to give him notice 10 days from the breach. And what you did was say, listen, I don't care. I got 10 grand of his money.
He told me to take it out of the deposit. He wanted to pay me at the end of the lease.
Did you tell him to take out of the deposit?
No, Your Honor. I have evidence to the contrary.
Okay.
That's not true.
$4,700. Judgment for the plaintiff. We're done.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Bye.
This case is done. Parties are excused.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
I took his key.
Don't talk nonsense to me.
I want to choose my words wisely.
If I were you, I would choose them very wisely.
Judge Judy.
I was the defendant. I had to defend myself.
He literally ran us out of there.
No comment.
It was terrible for 3 years. Just terrible.
No comment, sir.
It was kind of like this for 3 years.
Thank you.
Which is why I moved on.
A landlord gets grilled.
Mr. Quigley, did you change the lock?
I never changed the locks. I never locked him out. I took his key.
And the judge
Don't talk nonsense to me.
gets heated.
Mr. Quigley, if you play it straight with me, you're going to be much better off. Do you understand?
You got it. I want to choose my words wisely.
If I were you, I would choose them very wisely.
This is Judge Judy. William Reed is suing his former roommate, William Quigley, for the return of rent, a constructive eviction, and emotional distress.
Judge, this is case number 20 on the calendar in the matter of Reed versus Quigley. Parties have been sworn in, Your Honor.
Mr. Reed.
Yes, Your Honor.
You rented a room. The room was paid for by a charitable organization.
Yes, ma'am.
Correct?
Yes.
Could you tell me what charitable organization paid for that room and when they paid the rent and in what amount?
Lutheran Social Services.
Can you tell me why, Mr. Reed?
Oh, why? I'm sorry.
Why?
My house, June 29th, my house burned down. So I went to a homeless shelter for from July 5th to October 5th until I moved in with Mr. Quigley.
Lutheran Services
Yes.
paid 6 months in advance.
Yes.
Is that what I gather from your complaint?
Yes, absolutely.
How much did you receive, Mr. Quigley, when the plaintiff moved in from Lutheran Services?
When the plaintiff moved in, I received approximately $1,000.
Oh, exactly.
I received $1,000.
That's not true, Your Honor.
How much in total did you receive, sir, from Lutheran Services for the first 6 months that Mr. Reed was living at your home?
Eventually, I got $4,800 in total.
And during what time frame did you get the $4,800? From when to when?
Well, he moved in October 4th, and by, I believe, November 20th, I had the full amount.
Okay, so within a month, you got the full $4,800.
About 6 or 7 weeks.
Good. And so he was paid through October, November, December, January. He was paid
March 31st was the end.
He was paid through March.
Correct.
And had you ever rented any rooms in your house before, Mr. Quigley?
Yes, I have.
At the time that Mr. Reed was there, were any other tenants there?
There was a tenant in place until December 31st of 2019, and they vacated on the 1st. They were gone.
And you didn't replace them?
I did not.
Okay.
Your Honor, the guy left because he did... Okay.
Don't tell me why he left, sir.
Okay.
That really requires hearsay from you to me.
Okay.
And don't interrupt him. In March, the rent ran out, the 6 months were up, and Mr. Reed did not move out. Mr. Reed is suing for a constructive eviction because he said that you locked him out in violation of the law. Because of COVID, there was a moratorium on evictions. And he also said that subsequent to March, even before, but subsequent to March, that you embarked upon a course of conduct that was harassing in order to force him to leave the residence. That's what your lawsuit is about, sir. Is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And, Mr. Quigley, you have a counterclaim for the rent that you believe you're owed from the plaintiff for the period of time that he lived there after March 31st, and some damage that you claim that he owned, sir. Was anybody else other than yourself living there?
Yeah. It was 5 other people living there.
Who owned the house?
Mary was my landlord.
How long had you lived there?
A year and a half.
Because from your complaint, it sounded as if this was your house. So it was not your house. You merely rented a room there.
Correct.
And what kind of work did you do before this house burned down? Were you renting
I was
a room?
I was a car salesman, and then I did Uber.
When did you start to work Uber?
I started February 9th, 2018.
Until when?
Current.
That means that you own a car.
Yes.
Do you support anyone other than yourself?
No.
Why did this charity pay 6 months' rent for you if you've been working continuously from February of 2018?
Because I lost everything when my house burned down. All my clothes were gone. Everything, 80% of everything I owned was gone. And I needed a chance to get back on my feet.
Well, so you had that chance. They paid your rent for the first 6 months.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
So
I was
you
homeless.
had an opportunity.
I was homeless from July 5th to October 5th. So I had to find a place to stay. I couldn't drive as much as I wanted to because I didn't have anywhere to put my things at.
Do you still have a car?
Yes, ma'am.
What kind of car do you have?
Chrysler 300.
Do you have a note on the car, or do you own it?
I have a note on the car.
You have
CB is CBN.
And when did you purchase the car?
January 2018.
And what year car is it?
2016.
And what's your car payment every month?
$400.01.
You have insurance. You have to have insurance also. Does that include the insurance?
My insurance company is Infinity.
So now my question to you, sir, is I understand that there was a moratorium on eviction because of COVID.
Yes.
But that's only, the rationale behind that is that because of COVID, so many people were left unemployed that the government felt because of this highly unusual circumstance, it had to intervene so that people wouldn't be out on the street because they weren't working. But according to your testimony to me, Mr. Reed, you've worked continuously from February 9th, 2018 up until present. And I assume that you are current in your car payment.
No, ma'am.
My
$400. My mother was paying that for me. I'm sorry.
Oh, I don't care who's paying it for you. If your mother's paying for it, that's very, very nice. Mm-hmm. That means that the money that you get from working, you can put in your pocket. So I want to know, you stayed in Mr. Quigley's house. I just want to know who my customers are. An extra 2 months?
Yes, ma'am.
April and May?
Yes, ma'am.
And you didn't pay any rent?
He had the $1,000 deposit.
Just a second. And my question to you is, why didn't you pay any rent?
Oh.
Now you can answer me.
Okay,
You say he had a deposit.
Yeah, ma'am, I didn't make $400 in March. I was borrowing money from my sensei. I do martial arts. I was borrowing money from my sensei. I was borrowing money from my mother at that time. So March 15th, it was dead in Uber. It was absolutely dead. I worked 8 hours one day. I think I made $50. It wasn't enough. It wasn't enough money to do anything with. And I actually said to Mr. Quigley that I would pay him the $600. I would pay him if I could pay $100 or $200 a week if he would just leave me alone. That was never the case.
So just a second. So you asked him if you could pay small amounts.
Correct.
Because you couldn't. You had already had a very generous gift from a charity.
Yes.
Of $4,800.
Yes.
Your mother was paying your car note.
Yes.
You were borrowing money from your sensei. Did I say that right?
Yes, ma'am, you did.
So in the 2 months that you lived at Mr. Quigley's house, just tell me, how much did you give him?
He refused.
Even though you weren't
He refused, and at that point, that's when...
No, just a second. So when you said, listen, I'll give you as much as I can, he said no.
Yeah. I said I have an audio.
You have a what?
I have an audio of saying,
An audio?
Yeah, I said, hey, I'll pay you $100 a week. And he originally agreed the deposit money that was given, he originally agreed to say, hey, if I can keep the deposit, you can give me $600 and then I can stay for the rest of the time. He refused. Then he said, nope, I'm keeping the deposit. Nope, I'm not. You're out of here. I said, I don't have anywhere to go.
My Mr. Reed.
Yes.
Can you show me somewhere where part of this $4,800 was a deposit? How much was the rent?
The rent was...
What was the rent that they were supposed to pay?
The rent that
month?
I charge is $800 a month.
For a room?
For a room.
Do you have anything in writing, either one of you, from anything, from either the charitable organization or an agreement between the two of you that the rent was $800 a month? Something.
I have some receipts. I also have this that's just saying
Receipts
how much I paid him and then how much I owe him and all the rest of this stuff.
Your Honor?
Well, how much did you pay him?
I didn't pay the charity.
What do your receipts? I understand, but you said I have receipts. It says how much.
Your Honor, we had an agreement, and it was written out in a messaging app called Messenger.
May I see it?
I would show it to you, but he deleted it. The plaintiff deleted the whole conversation.
I'd like to see it.
He deleted the conversation.
Just a second, I'd like to see it. Just a second. The agreement is you're paying $1,600 a month for 6 months. What? Rent is paid until February. Well, actually, rent was paid until March.
That's not me in that
This is
conversation.
December.
I'm not in that conversation.
Yeah, this says Bill Quigley right there, and it shows his picture, Your Honor.
Just a second. Reminder, today is the 2nd and the rent's due on the 1st, and this is December 2nd.
The check's your
check's. But I thought, Mr. Reed, pay attention.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Quigley says he got the entire amount of money, $4,800, within the first 6 weeks or 7 weeks. So you're paid up until March
31st.
So why would there be a reminder on December 2nd?
Because they were sending the checks, and sometimes the checks were late, and he needs his money immediately. I'm like, hey, you've already been paid up until this certain time. Why do you just wait for it? So eventually, I had to call them to get the rest of for them to send the last final check because they ran out of money for the COVID.
Where does your mother live?
My mother lives in Kansas City, Missouri.
And how is she making your car payment, Mr. Reed? By what?
Yeah, with, I think, direct deposit or something like that.
No, that's not an answer.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I don't think that he is the kind of case that the government had in mind when they said you can't evict anybody. That doesn't mean that you're not supposed to pay rent. You're supposed to pay rent if you're working.
William Reed claims former roommate William Quigley constructively evicted him by creating a miserable living situation. The defendant is countersuing for rent, damaged property, and for creating an unsafe living environment.
Okay. What's your mother's phone number?
816.
And if I called your mother, whose name is?
I'm Jean Reed.
Your mother would tell me that between the time that the house in which you rented a room burnt out until March or April, she was making your car payment. Is that what she's going to tell me when I call her?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let's try it.
This is awesome.
Where would your mother be, Mr. Reed?
I wouldn't know. I haven't talked to her. I can call her. She probably answered for my number.
Is that her home phone?
No, that's her cell phone.
What's her home phone?
Don't know. I have no idea. I haven't lived there in 10 years or 8 years.
Whether you've lived there for 8 or 10 years is not an issue, but knowing your mother's home phone number would be sort of an interesting thing, especially since she was paying $400 a month for your car.
Huh?
For 8-9 months.
I don't even think she has a
Does your
home
mother
phone,
work?
as far as I know. Yeah, she was working. She was a nurse. She was a nurse at the Laredo Hospital, the head of labor and delivery.
Is she still working?
No, she's moved back to Kansas City. She was in Laredo.
When did she stop working?
I want to say June or July.
Okay. Mr. Reed, I have to tell you that I am not moved by your case.
You will be.
Initially, when I went, I will be?
Yes, ma'am.
I don't think so, sir. I don't think so, sir. I'm going to tell you why. The only thing that I'm actually interested in is the illegal eviction, and there's no question that Mr. Quigley, if I were to ask him, will tell me that he did
not lock him out.
Mr. Quigley.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you change the lock?
I never changed the locks.
Well, what did you do in order to lock him out?
I never locked him out. I took his key.
You took his key?
And I left the doors unlocked.
Okay, well, were the police called?
The police were called.
Yes, I have the evidence right there of that.
And the police, just a second, the police were called.
Yes, they were.
Mr. Quigley, if you play it straight with me, you're going to be much better off. Do you understand?
You got it.
Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. You know, unmoved by your counterclaim as well. But I tell you, when I read this and when people find themselves unemployed, his house burned down, he lost his stuff, you can understand that he was going through a very difficult time. His priority was making his car payment. I'm not sure, since he doesn't even know his mother's home phone number. I'm not so sure that his mother was paying $400 a month for his car for all this time. And he was, in fact, according to him, working continuously from 2018. So I don't think that he is the kind of case that the government had in mind when they said, you know, you can't evict anybody. That doesn't mean you can't evict anybody. It doesn't mean that you're not supposed to pay rent. You're supposed to pay rent if you're working.
I didn't have it, Your Honor.
It's not a free-for-all for all tenants to say, listen, you can't be evicted. That's not what the idea behind the government's admonition about eviction.
I would have paid him if he would have shown any kind of respect towards me whatsoever.
You know, if I would have been 5'6", I could have been a runway model. But it didn't happen for me.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Do you know how much experience I have in judging?
A tremendous amount.
I've been a judge for 40 years.
Yes.
Don't waste my time. I don't want to hear that you couldn't get a plumber for 3 days and that has something to do with him. Don't talk nonsense to me.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. William Reed has accused former roommate William Quigley of constructively evicting him by making his life miserable.
Okay, so what I'm telling you, sir, is I am unmoved by your case.
Okay.
You have a counterclaim.
I do.
You have a counterclaim. Your counterclaim is for the rent that he owes and damage that he did. I want you to tell me about the damage that you are alleging that he did.
The damage, amounts to several things.
Well, if you're thinking so hard, sir.
I want to choose my words wisely.
You should.
The bulk damage was flooring that was ruined and has to be replaced. That's in the process of being replaced.
He's lying, Your Honor.
Is that because he used the washing machine too often?
That's because...
that's what you say here.
Well, specifically...
That's what you say here.
My state...
That he used the washing machine too often.
Nothing but a liar.
Specifically...
I don't want you to speak.
Specifically, we had an incident in August with heavy rains, and we had a sewer backup into my house while he was residing in his room. And I specifically pointed out...
I didn't live there in August.
I specifically...
I don't want you to speak. He's talking now. This is not a free-for-all, Mr. Reed.
Okay. My apologies.
It was heavy rains, and I couldn't get a plumber for a couple of days over the weekend until Monday, and this was like on a Friday that I demonstrated.
Do you know how much experience? Do you know how much experience I have in judging? Do you have any idea?
A tremendous amount.
I've been a judge for 40 years. Don't waste my time. I don't want to hear that you couldn't get a plumber for 3 days because it was a heavy rain, and that has something to do with him. Don't talk nonsense to me.
Okay, I understand. I pointed out that we had a backup problem, and you can only do one load of laundry to reseed.
We're done. I'm done with your counterclaim.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Okay, I have just a couple more questions before I say goodbye to both of you. Mr. Reed, where are you living now?
In a hotel or Airbnb right now.
You're staying in an Airbnb at what address?
I don't know that address, Your Honor. I just went there Sunday. It's in Long Beach.
Where were you living prior to Sunday?
I was living in the Hilton. I was able to negotiate a lower rate. I've been at the Hilton and then Airbnbs ever since I was from his home.
You've been staying at a Hilton?
Yes, ma'am.
And what was the favorable rate that you've been able to negotiate?
$60 a night. They heard my situation, so I was able to pay for $60 a night.
Just a second. Yes, $60 a night.
Plus tax. So it came out to like 66 or something like that.
So you're paying close to $500 a week for the room?
Yes, ma'am.
That would be $2,000 a month.
Yes, ma'am.
And you're making those payments as a result of doing Uber driving.
Working through Uber. And I finally got some stimulus.
Okay. Very good. Go back to work. Your case is dismissed, as is your counterclaim. Go back to work. If you live someplace, you're supposed to pay rent. You're supposed to follow the rules, sir, and not limit somebody's
Your Honor, I called the police.
We're done
got 9 times.
We're done. We are done.
Thank you.
Case is concluded. Parties are excused.
And on the next Judge Judy.
You mistakenly parked in her parking space. Are you alleging that she keyed your car?
Absolutely not.
When you do something wrong, you lack the sympathy factor.
Next Judge Judy.
This guy, he's pure evil.
He's a freeloader scam artist.
The man threw trash in my room so he could put me in prison.
He has no responsibility. He has an immense sense of entitlement.
He told me if since I don't believe in the Lord, I should bow to him.
He can't even lie right.
I don't respect you. I don't like you. I don't need to do what you say.
You know, lesson learned, don't try to help anybody. Just, let them be people that act like they need help.
You mistakenly parked in her parking space.
A neighbor's dirty deed.
And there was a note.
Consider yourself lucky you weren't towed.
But she didn't get away clean.
Are you alleging that she keyed your car?
Scratched? Absolutely not.
Your problem is when you do something wrong, as you did, you lack the sympathy factor.
This is Judge Judy. Jessica Camacho says neighbor Jennifer Rumps Miller vandalized her car after she accidentally parked in her spot.
Now, it's case number 32 on the calendar in the matter of Camacho versus Rump Miller. Both parties have been sworn in, Your Honor.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge.
Ms. Camacho, how long have you been living in your apartment?
A little over a year, Your Honor.
When did you move in? Give me the date.
July 2019.
And your apartment comes with an assigned parking space, is that correct?
Yes, it is.
And what number is your parking space?
60.
Now, Ms. Miller, how long have you been living in the complex? You both live in the same complex?
Yes, Your Honor, that's
How long
correct.
have you been living there?
Approximately 3 years.
And what number is your parking space?
64.
So, am I correct that they are 3 or 4 spots away from each other?
Yes.
Okay. This is what the case is about. Ms. Camacho, you claim that the defendant vandalized your car because you mistakenly parked in her parking space.
Yes.
You want to become Ms. Miller acknowledges that she was royally annoyed that you parked in her space. She says she merely poured some mild detergent on your windshield to show her displeasure, causing nothing close to $4,000 worth of damage. So I have a couple of questions for you. Now, this incident happened in December of 2019.
Yes. Yeah, December 14.
And on December 14th, you'd been living in the building and parking in your parking space for approximately 6 months.
Yes.
So I'd like you to explain to me how, after 6 months, you, according to what you wrote, mistakenly parked in her spot in December.
Yeah, I came at night. We had Christmas dinner. I parked on her number.
I asked you why.
I wasn't paying attention.
Had you had too much to drink?
No, Your Honor.
I mean, had you parked in her spot before?
No, it was the first occurrence.
Was somebody else parked in your spot?
No.
No one?
No, no one. I just turned to park in earlier than, my spot.
And when you got out, and you've been making the same trip back and forth at least once a day from the garage to where you go into your house, right?
Right.
And so what you're telling me is you didn't realize that you were closer to your house
no,
than
Your
you
Honor.
were before.
I was with a family that came out of town, and we had gone to dinner, and I was distracted.
Were
I
you
didn't
all
notice that the
traveling in your
walk
car?
was a little bit longer. No.
Just a second. How many people were in your car?
It was 2 of us. My nephew that came from Utah.
Well, that's not a whole family. That's just one person.
Well, yeah.
So it was just you and one person?
Yes.
Okay. Now, when did you notice there was any damage to your car?
The next day, around noon.
Now tell me what happened when you came down at noon. Who did you come down with?
Oh, I came down alone because I had to go have a haircut. So I came to look for my car, and it wasn't there. I thought, well, where's my car? And then I look over, and that's when I realized that I had parked on the wrong spot.
And you found your car in what condition?
Well, there was laundry detergent all over the car. The windshield wipers have been broken, and there was a note.
Do you have the note?
Yes.
I'd like to see it. And I assume, Miss Miller, that you wrote that note.
Yes, ma'am.
Consider yourself lucky you weren't towed. Do not park in anybody else's paid parking spot again.
Yes, Your Honor, that is correct.
And now I'd like to see photographs that you took of the car that day. That's the back windshield. Is that the one that was bent?
It was torn out, actually.
What about the front windshield wipers?
Right.
Were they torn out?
Yes. Can I change it?
May I see?
The front, and here is the windshield
wiper. On the windshield?
Yeah.
Got it.
That's the windshield wiper front. So both of them on the front,
Got
too.
It. Okay. And the car itself, I see the laundry detergent on the windshield. Could you show me photographs of the laundry detergent on the car itself?
Yes, Your Honor.
Got it. Okay. Now, when you found the car in this condition, what did you do?
I called management, and I spoke to the manager. I told him what I found.
Don't tell me what they said. Did they have cameras?
No.
I assume you ascertained that the perpetrator of this vandalism was the defendant by the note that said you had parked in her space.
That's right.
When next did you meet Miss Miller?
December 14 was the incident. I called management because I wanted to settle this matter between us without involving the police. Management said they were going to contact the resident in question. I gave them 3 days before I filed a police report to hear from her and work things out between each other. I haven't heard from Ms. Rumps. On December 17, I filed a police report.
May I see that, please? Got it. So that was on the 17th. And when did you hear again from either management or from the defendant?
Telling me that she wanted to meet up with me and make things right, that she wanted an estimate of the damages.
Okay, don't tell me what else they said. Did you meet with her?
Yes, I did, in January.
You met with her in the office?
Yes, we did. The manager agreed to mediate.
Had you had the car fixed between December 15th and the January meeting?
I had it partially fixed, Your Honor. I fixed the windshield wipers and had it multiple times washed. I had an estimate by Toyota dealer. So, yeah, I had it partially fixed.
And how much did you spend to have it partially fixed that you have receipts for?
Well, roughly, I don't know, $250, $300.
This is a court. This is not a roughly. This is not a $250. You had 3 windshield wipers. I'd like to see what you spent to fix them.
Okay. So that's the wiper right there, one of them.
Oh, so you bought the wipers from Amazon?
Yes. My boyfriend offered to fix them.
Got it. Now, what is it that you say is wrong with the car physically that was a result of what Miss Miller poured on the car?
Yeah, so per Toyota diagnostic, they need to flush the AC. They need full engine flush.
What do they need to flush?
Because the detergent got on the vents, all the air vents.
You mean drip?
Chilled.
May I see the estimate, please?
Yes.
West Coast Toyota.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, guest request to have dents assessed. Did you allege in the police report that she caused dents in your car?
Yes, Your Honor.
Then show me where. Just point it out to me in the police report. Well, I see that. I just want to see where in the police report you attribute that to her.
Right here.
Okay. Could you point out where you allege in the police report any dents in the car that she caused? Just point it out to me. I may have missed it. Windshield keyed. You didn't tell me that anybody keyed your car. Are you alleging that she keyed your car?
No.
Where?
Well, there were some areas, though, but she said she didn't do it, so I didn't.
Absolutely not.
Okay, shh, don't. Miss Miller, your problem is when you do something wrong, as you did,
Yes.
you lack the sympathy factor if someone is exaggerating. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am, I do. I apologize.
Okay, can we get back to the bill, please?
This is just the total of the estimate of that day. I have 3 estimates of the work they recommended to be done on the car.
I only want to see estimates. Be very careful, Miss Camacho, of the things that you are alleging. Understand?
Yeah.
Good. Now, you took it to Toyota.
Yes.
They gave you an estimate of $150.
No. That was the initial evaluation of the car because I was scared, Your Honor. I didn't know what else was going on with the car. Maybe there was something that was not in the naked eye that I couldn't see.
Fine. So let me see what Toyota said. Is that from Toyota?
Yes, Your Honor. I went to 3 different places.
I'd like to see Toyota.
Okay, this is Toyota.
Now I'd like to go back to the photographs of what you are alleging, other than the windshield wipers, which I've allotted you $250 for the windshield wipers and $150 for the assessment. So far, we're up to $400.
Yes, Your Honor. The assessment includes that the Toyota dealer recommended the whole car needed to be painted.
I understand what... Okay, I got it. I want to see the picture of what you're alleging the damage was that she caused. You showed me one picture that looked like a little dent. I want to know if you have any others.
No, that's it, Your
You didn't
Honor.
show me a picture worth $4,000.
No, that was all for the dents, Your Honor.
Well, I would suggest that you get that dent pulled out. It's not a $4,000 dent.
No,
Okay.
but the paint job is.
Miss Miller, you want to tell me why, instead of just putting on a note on her car, what you had to do was you had to see that she parked in your spot, go to your apartment, get detergent, come down. So it was a well-thought-out process. You want to tell me why an otherwise reasonable, intelligent person would do something like that?
First and foremost, I know what I did was wrong, and I feel great remorse for it, and I can assure you, the defendant, everyone, I would never do something like this ever again. There's no excuse for my behavior.
Great.
It was displaced frustration and anger, and it wasn't correct that I took it out on her. I did go through the correct channels. I contacted our security patrol that we have. I did not receive a response. I then contacted the phone number. There's a towing company placard. When I spoke to the gentleman via the tow truck company, he said, in order to have the vehicle towed, I would need to show a copy of my lease. It was 5 in the morning. I did not have that on me, nor did I know where it was at the moment. I was very upset and distraught.
What time did you come home?
5:15 in the morning.
Okay. So you tried to go through all the channels. You couldn't
Yes, Your
get
Honor.
any satisfaction from any. You couldn't get satisfaction
Yes, Your
from
Honor.
anybody. I got it. Your initial statement to me really addressed the whole evening. You understand that it was the wrong thing to do.
Absolutely.
You apologized. You took out your frustration. You had the car fixed. She's entitled to whatever she spent to have it fixed. I do not believe that you caused $5,000 worth of damage to her car. Do you work, Ms. Camacho?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Since December of this year, have you been going to work?
Yes.
And you've been getting to work by your car?
Yes.
Unflushed, unsanitized. You haven't had it in repair for any engine problems since December?
No. However,
Okay.
Your Honor.
So, yes.
You wanted to see more pictures. I have the after pictures
Yes,
of the decals that are permanently stained, as well as the paint. So the problem with the paint is that when you run your fingers through it, it's corroded because the laundry detergent chemicals in it corroded the paint. So now it's like a matte.
Well, that's a different picture. Just
Yes.
a second. That's a different picture from the picture that you showed me.
Yes, Your Honor.
Before with just one dent.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
This is her rear spoiler. The paint is noticeably chipping and peeling. However, in my pictures that I took directly after the incident, it shows the same thing.
No. How did you get to court today?
In my car.
We're going to have somebody take pictures of your car all over, and we're going to come back.
Jennifer Rumps Miller of destroying her wiper blades and damaging the paint on her car after she accidentally parked in her spot.
When was that picture taken? After the car was washed or before?
Yes, after the car was washed.
Your Honor, I too have pictures.
I would like to see your pictures of the car.
I took pictures directly
is now.
after the incident because I knew in my gut what I did was very wrong, and I had a very strong gut feeling that somehow this would be turned against me and it would be claimed more than what had actually
turned
happened.
against you because you were wrong. Did you take current pictures of the car?
I took pictures right after the incident, and yes, I did take current pictures as well.
I'd like to see your current pictures of the car.
Your Honor, can I say
Because
one?
what she's showing me is the way the car looks now, and it's discolored because of the laundry detergent, then I agree with her.
This is the picture that I took directly after the incident.
Yes, that I
Okay.
got.
Okay.
I want to see pictures of her car now.
So this is the best
I mean,
picture.
I saw the pictures of it.
Yes, ma'am. This is the best picture that I have. This is her rear spoiler. The paint is noticeably chipping and peeling. However, in my pictures that I took directly after the incident, it shows the same thing.
No. I'm not interested in the pictures that you took directly afterwards. I'm
Well, the
interested
reason
in
being,
seeing
ma'am, it shows
what her
that
car looks like.
My car.
And is what you're telling me that the photographs that you showed me earlier of the way the car looks now, with what appears both on the door frame and on the bottom of the car, where the car appears to be stained
Yes, Your Honor.
and discolored.
Yes, it's still
That's the way
discolored.
it looks today.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, very good. So we're going to have one of my clerks go out and take a photograph of your car, and we're going to recall this case. Do you understand?
Yes. Can I say one more
Because
thing?
I just have to set an amount of damages. If the damages are for the dents, which I assume some of them did, because when you had to get up to pour stuff
No,
on the
ma'am.
windshield, you... Okay,
Absolutely
well,
not.
whatever.
Well, honestly,
Whatever.
I did break the
I
rear
wanna see
windshield
what the
wiper
car looks-
blade, and I did pour detergent, but that's
On-
all I
on
did.
the front?
On the front windshield and the driver's side window is where I poured the detergent. The very back of the car,
Yes.
I did break the windshield wiper arm completely, and that's all the damage I did.
Okay. If you say that it ate into the paint or whatever, is that what you're saying, that it ate into the paint?
Yes,
Ms.
Your
Camacho?
Honor, it's corroded.
Okay. If it did, don't speak. If it did, it will show up in the pictures that somebody is going to take, and then I will make an appropriate order. There's no question as to liability. The defendant is liable. The only question is how all over, and we're going to come back. Thank you very much. We'll recall this case.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I'd like to see the damage.
My car is white, Your Honor, and now it's matte, so it doesn't have a shine anymore because of the corrosion from the laundry detergent.
I did call Arm & Hammer, and I did ask them if they have any testing.
You can't tell me what Arm & Hammer told you.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. In a case recalled from earlier today, Jessica Camacho is suing her apartment complex neighbor, Jennifer Rumps Miller, for vandalizing her car after she accidentally parked in her spot.
Judge, this is a recall of case number 32 in the matter of Camacho versus Rump Miller. Parties are reminded you're still under oath.
Thank you, Bird. Ms. Camacho, did you take photographs or did someone take photographs of your car that you wanted to show me?
Yes, Your Honor, we did. So
I'd like to see the damage. Okay, so around the door frame,
yeah, those are the decals.
I see that there is a discoloration. Anything else?
Yeah.
I'd like to see it.
We also made a video of my car is white, Your Honor, and now it's matte. So it doesn't have a shine anymore because of the corrosion from the laundry detergent. So laundry detergent is not for cars, it's for clothes.
No, just a second. I just want to see the picture.
Yes.
Okay, what's
Yes,
next? And the door frame.
Yes.
Anything else?
By all the decals, the front where the mirror is at, it's gray. It's not black anymore because of the corrosion.
I don't know if that's from that.
Well, the three estimates that I got, they all agreed.
Just a second. Well, I do see that there is some evidence of still splatter on that. I see it. Okay, very good. Now, you have an 11-year-old car. You're entitled to have the car repainted.
Thank you, Your
Because
Honor.
what you did was you put stuff on there that was clearly corrosive on
Your
parts
Honor?
of the car, and you don't have to live with that.
Your Honor, may I interject?
Yes.
I did call Arm & Hammer, and I did ask them if they have any testing.
You can't tell me what Arm & Hammer told you.
Okay.
That's hearsay.
Okay.
If you have an expert here, I'm prepared to hear them.
I understand that.
But
I do have pictures.
Without an expert, I just saw the pictures that were taken today. And so I have to make a judgment as a lay person as to whether or not the discoloration that I just saw plausibly was a result of you pouring detergent on the car.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Okay. Now, there is business in a laundry. They're not going to cause any damage. They're going to do exactly what they were designed to do, which is to clean clothes and take out stains. Just as a soft drink, if you drink it, it may not be good for you, but if you put it on a car, it corrodes the paint of the car. So if you use something that is not designed for, especially under these circumstances, and Ms. Miller, I have to tell you that I commend you for saying I acted out of frustration, and I don't think that you actually intended to cause permanent damage to the paint on her car. You did, in fact, intend to cause damage to the windshield of her car, which you
Not
acknowledged.
the windshield, the arm, but
in
yes,
frustration,
ma'am.
frustration, you broke. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $3,500. You can get your car painted for that. We're done. Thank you.
Case is concluded. Parties are excused.
And on the next Judge Judy, his cheating was exposed.
He was still involved with Claudia.
He was lying to the both of us.
Couldn't you tell who he was?
Yeah, I fell for the sweet nothings.
Next Judge Judy.
I had already had my car broken into twice, my carport once, and I just had had enough.
I made a mistake. It was an honest mistake. I didn't mean anything by it.
It was misplaced anger.
Yes.
I understand what I did was wrong, and she should be awarded a certain amount.
And I think the judgment was fair.
But I do feel that the paint job is extortion. I feel that it is an astronomical request.
And I hold nothing against Miss Jennifer.
Definitely have it towed. I will not be behaving in such a manner ever again.
Park on the right spot, yes.
Lord knows I have a change heart.
I just want to know what kind of a nasty guy he is.
His lying was a big problem.
Did you ever live together?
No. It was my apartment. He moved in with me.
Then his cheating was exposed.
He was still involved with Claudia.
She reached out to me. Came to find out that, yeah, he was lying to the both of us.
Couldn't you tell who he was?
Yeah, I fell for the sweet nothings.
This is Judge Judy. Randa Ramia is suing her ex-boyfriend, Adrian Astorga, for unpaid loans to help his business.
Judge, this is case number 26 on the calendar in the matter of Ramia versus Astorga. Both parties have been sworn in, Your Honor.
Mr. Astorga, I'm going to start with you. How did you hurt your arm?
Work accident. I broke tree work.
You fell off a tree?
No, a log. We were rigging and it came back and hit my arm.
You have children. Is that right, sir?
Yes.
How many children do you have?
2.
How old are they?
11 and 2.
And what's their mother's first name?
Claudia.
If you have 2 children who are 11 and 2, Claudia and the 2 children's, their parents are the same. So you and Claudia have 2 children.
No, it's 2 different.
So you have 2 children with 2 different ladies.
Yes.
What is the 2-year-old's mother's name?
Claudia.
And what is the 11-year-old's mother's name?
Andrea.
Which one do you live with now?
Claudia.
For how long have you been living with Claudia?
2 years.
Did you start living together while she was pregnant or before?
While she was pregnant.
You lived with her during the child's birth?
Yes.
And continuously until now?
Yes.
So I'd like you to explain to me, sir, how you managed Miss Ramea. Explain that to me.
I used to work for her dad.
Well, that doesn't make you funny. That makes you an idiot. I mean, it's not funny. You used to work for her father in what?
Carpet cleaning.
And when did you stop working for him in carpet cleaning?
About a month after I started.
And what did you start to do then?
Got into the tree service.
When did you start seeing the plaintiff socially?
We've been on and off, if not more.
So you started to work for her father while you were dating her?
No, we weren't dating. I met her working for the dad, but I didn't know that she was the daughter of the owner.
So when you say you've been dating on and off for 4 or 5 years, did you ever live together?
No.
Did you ever stay at her home for a period of more than 3 days?
No.
Is that correct?
We moved in together last year, September.
September of 2019? Where did you move in together?
Into an apartment.
Did you both sign the lease?
No, it was my apartment. He moved in with me. I had already had a lease.
Let's deal with it. Let's answer my questions directly. You didn't move in together. He moved in with you in September of 2019.
Correct.
Was he there on a full-time basis?
Yes.
7 days a week?
Yes.
Your lawsuit is about money that you allege he owes you as a result of using your credit cards to start a business in July of this year.
That's correct. And that was for the insurance.
That's in this year.
Yes.
At that time, he had, according to you, been living with you continuously since September 2019.
That's correct.
And he used your credit card. That's what this is all about. He used your credit card, and he bought a whole bunch of things for his business. He thinks this is all funny. I have to tell you something, sir. She may see what as a... Now, at some point, you found out that he was still involved with Claudia.
Correct.
Tell me how you found out he was still involved with Claudia.
Well, she reached out to me.
And when?
I want to say in May of this year.
How did she reach out to you?
She sent me a letter by Yelp.
Do you have it?
Yes.
I'd like to see it. I'd like to see it.
Well, I have a text message where she's asking me to meet with her in person.
I would like to see the letter she sent to you.
Sure. Let me find it. I'm sorry. You think it's okay to contact my fiance? What kind of woman are you going after someone who is engaged? This is the second time you're thirsty gets involved in our relationship. Do I really have to keep going?
Yes.
When he was living with you, we were still together. He used your car to come to my house. You have to email him to talk to him. Does that tell you something is up? You're stupid. When he made you wait at Starbucks and left you there because he was on the phone with me, you want him so badly, you can have him. Get something straight. You will never be first. I'm dumping his cheating, but you will never take my place. He will never love you. You're just some chick he's trying to use to pass time. You will never take my place.
Okay. So then you met her in person?
Yes.
Now, what had Prince Charming told you about his relationship with Claudia?
He was keeping...
You knew he had a child?
Yeah. Chaos with the fact that he wanted to spend time with his kid. He felt that if she knew about our relationship, she would probably hold the child from him spending time with him.
So that's the reason he gave you for not introducing you to the child?
Yeah.
I assume.
Well, I met the kid.
Where?
We took him to a pumpkin patch.
When? That must have been...
Halloween.
Sometime in the fall of...
Around Halloween.
So he was about a year old then?
About, yeah.
Too young to tell the story.
Right.
Right. You started to say that you made an appointment to meet Claudia.
No,
I just want to know what kind of a nasty guy he is. I'm just trying to figure it out.
That's okay. Well, we did meet in person. She was more cordial then. We talked about it, and it came to find out that, yeah, he was lying to the both of us.
Right. Does he ever see his 11-year-old child?
Yes.
Is that a boy or a girl?
It's a girl.
Does he have visitation with that child?
I believe so.
Did you ever meet that child?
No.
Do you know why he left your father's business?
So that he can go into the tree business, because carpet cleaning really wasn't what he wanted to do.
Wasn't his dream job.
Correct.
Doing trees and breaking his arm is his dream job.
I guess it's a lucrative business.
I'd like you to tell me, according to you, he moved in with you in September of 2019, and he lived with you.
Yes.
Claudia.
Funny enough is that I didn't really know that they lived together until me and her actually met, and she had told me that there was moments that they were living together.
You mean periods of time when he wouldn't come home, that there would be a reason that he wouldn't come?
No, he came home every day.
He can't be sleeping in.
No, he came home every day.
He can't be sleeping in two places.
He came home every day.
He did?
Yeah.
Well, then, is Claudia missing a few? She didn't realize he wasn't there for almost a year and a half?
Well, while he was living with me, he wasn't living with Claudia. Claudia was living with her mother. And apparently, from what she understood, is that he was living with a coworker, and I was just a sister.
Is that what you told her?
No.
Sir?
No.
No. Well, how did you explain this living with somebody else?
I wasn't living with her.
To Claudia?
I was living with Claudia.
You weren't living with her. You were living with Claudia. So she's psychotic. Is that
a little bit.
Now, how did you get possession of her credit card?
I didn't. She made payment. Yeah.
What?
I didn't.
You have to be very careful. Yeah, you have. So you never charged anything on her credit card?
Not physically.
Is what you're saying?
Yes.
What do you mean not physically? You mean
I've
emotionally?
never used the card.
You tried,
I've never used the card.
You've never bought anything for yourself using her credit card?
No, I didn't.
Explain how that happened.
Well, I have evidence.
Yes.
I mean, I can show you.
Well, how did he use
the credit
your
card.
credit card?
I handed.
When?
Well, the first time was in April. That was for the insurance for his company that I have here.
And how much was that for?
That one was for $3,100, and then there was.
Okay, it's just a.
Go ahead.
Explain that to me. $3,100 for your insurance. Explain it.
She paid it using.
It was paid by her credit card.
Yeah, by her.
Well, how did you do that? You said to her, "This is my insurance payment.
Yeah.
Can you pay it with your credit card?"
Right. I mean,
I want you to tell me how it happened.
At that time, I was short on money, and she insisted to pay for it, and I told her
No, not insisted. I want physically. Physically. Sir.
Your question.
Physically, not emotionally.
Your question is.
My question is, how did the insurance get paid? Did you hand her
She paid for it.
The bill? No. Something wrong with you.
Yeah, I didn't.
Did you hand her the bill?
No, she made the payment herself using her card.
How could she do that? She took out a crystal ball and said, "This is about what the insurance payment is."
She processed.
Figure out where.
She processed the payment online using her credit card.
How did she know to whom to make the payment? Follow my words. How did she know to whom to make the payment?
Because she knows. We talk. She was insisting on her relationship.
Of course it was. How did she know the name to whom to make the payment?
The company name?
Yes, the company name.
I mean, she knows it, but she knows everything about. We talk, so she knows the name of the company. She knows everything.
How did she know the amount?
Well, when the payment comes up on the tells you how much to pay, it tells you right there how much to pay. She paid that amount.
No, it wouldn't come up on her machine because it wasn't her business.
Yeah, she did it.
It would come up.
She paid. Yeah, she did. She went online to a state compensation.
What an idiot. No, that would be you.
Mm-hmm. I hear you.
You have to hear me. I mean, if I had a little more time, or if I was not as nice a person as I am, it would be my joy to continue to torture him.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today.
There was a collision with the plaintiff's car.
Yes.
You wanted a parking space that badly. You jumped in front of him, nasty, but you found a parking space, and instead of looking and making sure, you threw your car into reverse so that you could make the turn and get the space. Nasty.
Randa Ramita owes for credit card charges she made on behalf of his business.
Now, if I had a little more time, or if I was not as nice a person as I am, it would be my joy to continue to torture him. But tape is very expensive. And CBS doesn't like to pay for tape just to see me humiliate somebody.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, couldn't you tell who he was?
Yeah, I fell for the sweet nothings.
No. You fell for it.
I fell for the sweet nothings.
If you fell for it, my dear, you have to pay for it. Because there's no question in my mind that this wasn't a loan.
No, it wasn't
There's
a loan.
no question in my mind that this wasn't a loan.
This was a loan.
No way.
No, this was a loan.
No.
And he was paying me back.
No.
I have proof of him paying me back. He was paying me back. I have it here. He started it back in March. He paid me back $500. It was an absolute loan. In July, he paid me $900. I even have an email where I was actually trying to figure it out because right before we broke up, he had 2 jobs lined up and he had agreed that he was going to pay me $1,000 from that money.
That's great. If you had a loan agreement, I would say I would take a look at it.
Well,
I'm making a ruling now. Listen, if women want to be stupid and give men money.
No, it's not. It wasn't about being stupid or giving anybody money.
They've been stupid forever. You gave him money because you figured you were going to be together. That's why you gave him money. It was his business. He left your father because it wasn't something
dating
he
at that
wanted to be in
time.
the tree business. Yeah. Goodbye. We're done. Thank you. Your case is dismissed. We're done. Bye.
This case is concluded. Parties may step out.
It was definitely a loan.
Shaggy said it wasn't me.
He was paying me back. It wasn't me just giving him money.
To be at 2 places at the same time.
I tried. I sent him 4 emails and I never got anything back, so.
It was a gift.
I'm not a priority. He was probably going to pay me back at some point.
It's a future investment in the relationship.
It's just not pertinent.
Don't do it again.
All parties in the matter of Jimenez versus Robles. Approach the podium, please.
Eric Jimenez is suing fellow motorist Melinda Robles for an accident in a shopping center parking lot.
This was an auto accident that occurred on the 22nd of July of this year. Is that correct, Mr. Jimenez?
That's correct.
And from what I gather from both your complaint and Ms. Robles, from your answer, you were both looking for a parking space in a parking lot.
Right.
Right. What kind of car were you driving, Mr. Jimenez?
I was driving a 2014 Honda Civic EX, 4-door.
And what kind of car were you driving, Ms. Robles?
It's a 2001 Chrysler Town & Country.
So it's a big car.
Right.
Now, on the 22nd of July of this year, Mr. Jimenez, did you have automobile insurance?
Did.
Now, Ms. Robles, on the 22nd of July of this year, did you have automobile insurance that was in effect?
Yes, I do.
That's a yes or a no?
Yes.
With what company?
With Fred Lawyers Insurance.
You have those papers to show me that you had insurance coverage on the 22nd?
Yes.
I'd like to see them. Now, Mr. Jimenez, did you try to contact Ms. Robles' insurance company?
I did.
Can you tell me what happened when you tried to contact her insurance company?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I saw her rear lights come up, and it looks like she floored it, and she was heading towards my car, and that's when I started honking. I even put my window down to, trying to, stop. But obviously she didn't see me, and she hit my front fender.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Eric Jimenez says fellow motorist Melinda Robles backed into him in a shopping center parking lot.
Now, can you tell me what happened when you tried to contact her insurance company?
Yes, ma'am. I actually contacted my insurance first, but unfortunately, because the damages didn't exceed my deductible, that it's better to call her company, Fred Lawyers Insurance.
Well, tell them.
Right, so I called.
I gathered that.
I called her insurance company, and I went ahead and gave my statements to the representative from her company. And about 2 weeks after the initial call, her adjuster called me and said, due to the fact that Ms. Robles had stated to them that she wasn't at fault, her adjuster stated, we're going to take our client's word and we're going to decline your damages.
Fine. Okay. The reason I'm asking that question is because it seems to me the damages, as you indicate in your complaint, was $719. That's what it cost to fix your car.
That's correct.
And so you were out of pocket that $719.
That's
I
correct.
just wanted to make certain that we're not here because somebody didn't have insurance on that day.
No, ma'am.
Okay. So you were looking for a parking space.
That's
on the 22nd. About what time, Mr. Jimenez?
I would have to say around noon, 12 o'clock.
And when you saw the defendant for the first time, can you tell me where she was?
When I seen her for the first time, she cut me off abruptly.
She came around you?
Correct, to get a parking spot. Yes, ma'am.
She came around you?
That's
so
correct.
you're both going relatively slowly in a parking lot. And the first time you saw her, she went around and got in
front of me to get a parking spot, but due to the fact that there was another car facing us, she didn't know, but that
coming
car...
from the opposite direction.
Correct. That car took that parking spot. So neither her nor I
scooted into that parking spot.
Correct.
So now she's in front of you.
That's correct.
And then what happened?
So she started making a right turn into another parking aisle, still an aisle.
An aisle, not a spot.
Nope, an aisle. As soon as she turned right, you know, I was right behind her. There was a stop sign. I looked both ways, make sure I had a clear sign. I continued to make the same right she made, and as I was making a right, I saw her rear lights come up, and it looks like she floored it, and she was heading towards me, to my car, and that's when I started honking. I even put my window down to start, trying to stop. But obviously she didn't see me, and she hit my front fender.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, Mr. Jimenez.
Yes, ma'am.
Would I be correct that when you got out of the car and she got out of the car,
right,
was there a parking space made the right turn?
Yes.
Yes, well, that's what she says.
Right.
That there was a parking space available.
Right.
That's what you said in your answer.
Yes.
Is that right, Ms. Robles?
Yes.
And so what you did, according to you, was since you had a very big car, you needed to make a wider turn.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. That's not what you say. That's what I'm saying. But you needed to make a wider turn. And in order to do that, you had to back up your car a little bit.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yes. And when you backed up your car a little bit, there was a collision with the plaintiff's car.
Yes.
Right.
Right.
Well, you have to pay him $719. That's what happened. You didn't see it. You wanted a parking space that badly. You jumped in front of him, nasty, but you found a parking space, and instead of looking and making sure, you threw your car into reverse so that you could make the turn and get the space. Nasty. Cost you $719. Judgment for the plaintiff.
Ma'am, Judge, you. I'm also suing for lost wages.
You also,
I'm also suing
that.
for lost wages.
Good done. 700. I heard you. I heard you. I'm ignoring you.
Copy.
$719. Got it?
Got it.
Copy.
Thank you. Included. Parties are excused.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
Both checks bounced.
Yes.
Can you not say the word bounced?
They were bounced. You know that's a felony?
Judge Judy.
I think she's seen through the lies that Ms. Robles was trying to, cop out.
He did tell lies. I was in the right of way because I was going first.
Not really a sense of urgency. It's just that I had to go to work.
And then he was coming out of a thing, going to make a right turn. So
due to the pandemic that was going on, I had to make sure I was stocked up on toilet paper and essential things that I needed to get.
He even told me he's seen me backing up. But my question is, why didn't you back up as well if you know I didn't hear you?
And I needed to get my groceries done ASAP, so...
Your horn, But that's okay,
Oh, wow. She started laughing uncontrollably.
No, I've never laughed. I'm not that type of person. I was more scared because I didn't know.
And it kind of threw me off.
What was going to happen, I'm not like that.
I'm glad that... once again, Judge Judy saw through her, through the lies that she was trying to put.
And now I could just get on with my life now.
And now I'm glad.